Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good evening, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits because you know what? Another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. All right. We got some things we got to get straight into. I missed you guys earlier today. Honestly, I wish I was on earlier today, but and I wasn't planning on being on tonight, to be completely honest, because I am not feeling the best right now. Okay. It's some serious stomach issues going on. I don't know what's going on, but it is what it is. There's something that was big that's going on here in New York City right now as we speak. Some really bad stuff going on. So I wanted to give you guys this update or give you guys break this news to you guys because this is a very big deal. An active assailant. All right. We're hearing that now the assailant is no longer here anymore. Okay. But allegedly, this particular assailant was opening fire in Midtown Manhattan, okay, in New York City. There's been a lot of things that have been going on, so we have got to talk about this. So do me a favor before we get into everything, okay? Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms, please do me a favor, okay? Hit that subscribe button, that follow button on all those platforms. I'm on Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick. Okay, I'm on all of those, okay? So please follow. If you can, that'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel if you're watching on YouTube. All right? I got 2 other channels, by the way. I got the Pascal Show clips. Please go check that out. Subscribe over there, too. And go check out my newest platform, my newest podcast called Pascal Raw. Please go over there, subscribe. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right. That would be dope. Okay. Now, hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Go check it out. Okay, guys, we got to get into this. But like I said, please, guys, I just dropped last night, a new episode on Pascal Raw. Yes, it's finally getting back up and running. It's been, last week was a little busy. I didn't have enough time to sit down and record without being interrupted. You see what I'm saying? So, of course, please go and check that out. Pascal Raw. That's literally what's called. Pascal Raw. Go check it out. Brand new episode just dropped yesterday, and I'm just basically giving you my 2 cents on everything that's going on over the week. Of course, putting in personal conversations, little anecdotes about life, etc., and throwing a little bit more comedy. I know you're already getting that kind of stuff here on the show, but this is an uninterrupted, just me talking. You see what I'm saying? So go check it out, and then in that platform may morph into something else. We'll see what happens, but for right now, it is what it is. It's an uninterrupted conversation. No articles up, no videos to react to. It's just me just straight up talking and putting in my 2 cents. So please go check that out. Pascal Raw, subscribe, and go check those things out. It's great if you're just cleaning your house or you're cooking or, taking a road trip out and you just need to want a familiar voice talking to you on the road. You can get that right there on Pascal Raw. Okay, go check it out. Subscribe, hit that notification bell because I'm going to be putting out 2 episodes this week. Okay, yeah, 2 episodes this week. So make sure you are subscribed over there. Okay, but guys, we got to get into this. Okay, and I'm sorry, I don't have all the energy like I usually do. Not feeling so great right now. Okay, I'm just getting through today. Okay, I am literally just going through the motions today. Okay, but I heard about this terrible situation, so I'm going to pull this up for you guys. But real talk, apparently there's been rumor of this person no longer being here, if you get what I'm saying, that he's been neutralized. But then there also has been reports of this guy locked up somewhere, holed up in some building. Okay, so we're going to find out as we get through the show. Okay, but there's an active assailant apparently, okay, that actually took out a few people. Multiple people have been shot. We do not know, or as far as I know right now, like again, this is all breaking news. So there's a lot that could change, a lot of information that can change. I haven't heard about anyone losing their life so far. Okay. But like I said, let's give it some time. We will find out, of course, time as this report continues to trudge forward. We're going to find out more information. Okay. So just so you guys know, but they're saying active shooter report prompts massive police response in Midtown Manhattan. Okay. In the business district. And let me tell you something. If you've ever been to New York City, which I highly recommend, New York is amazing. Okay. It is fire. All right. But it's busy everywhere. Okay. So the fact that there was an active assailant, if there's an assailant just walking around, let me pull up this photo too, which is absolutely insane. Guys, this is insane. I need you guys to see this. And if this is 110% real, this is scary. You got a guy walking around with this. You see that? I'm going to blow this up a little bit more so you guys can see. This is insane, y'all. So if there is, the dude walked out with that. That looks like a long rifle to me. AK? AK or no, I think that's an AR. What the hell's going on here, guys? And this is actually happening in Manhattan. Let me repeat that again. This is happening in freaking Manhattan. Okay? The busiest, most beautiful, most resilient city in the world, New York City. Someone decides to take out their weapon and start firing, open fire, on people. Okay? This is absolutely crazy. And yes, I know everybody all like, everyone's panties all tied up in a bunch over the Sydney Sweeney situation. Okay. But this is more important. All right. This is absolutely insane. Let me just keep that completely real with y'all. I cannot believe this is actually real. And this actually happened in New York City. See, here's the thing. This was inevitable. I'm going to be real. This was inevitable, but I didn't know that this was going to happen like this, right? You fear for this to ever happen, and now we're starting to hear that, and now we're seeing the nightmare that we've all been scared of, the nightmare that we've all not wanted to have happen. Apparently, now we're seeing it in real life, and that is some scary stuff. If you witness 9/11, and that's witnessing 9/11 from the nosebleed seats, just watching it on TV, or just actually living through it being in New York, being in Manhattan during that whole thing. I mean, literally, this is like that all over again. It's just absolutely crazy. So let me get to this article here. Of course, this is some crazy stuff. There's a lot of footage that I'm still trying to look for and grab, because like I said, I just found out about this. Okay. Crawled off the couch from being curled up in a ball just to give you guys this news. Okay. So if you guys, and I'm not kidding, I'm being dead ass. Like I'm going through it right now. Okay. But this was a big deal, and I didn't want to miss this information and give you guys that breaking news. Okay. And of course, again, my thoughts and prayers go out to all New Yorkers right now, because this is some scary stuff. And here's the other thing too. This could inspire other people to do other things too. This could definitely inspire other people to do some really, really bad things in Manhattan. And I'm hoping it doesn't. Okay. So for those of y'all who live in New York City, we all love you. We are all praying for you. Just keep your head on a swivel. Okay. And stay safe. But as I said, active shooter report prompts massive police presence, okay, in Midtown Manhattan business district. Now, I understand that apparently a cop was hit, okay, a New York NYPD officer was actually hit. Don't know, like I said, don't know if all of this is, I don't know if this is all the results of the people who have been hit, because they say multiple people have been hit, okay. So we're going to get into that. Okay, so they say at least 6 people were actually hit Monday, and a suspected gunman is down following a barrage of gunfire inside a Midtown Manhattan office building that houses the Blackstone investment firm, and the headquarters of the NFL. NFL and Blackstone, not BlackRock. See, I can see where people are getting that all messed up, right? But not BlackRock, Blackstone. Don't worry, I'm going to look that up and see what the information about the, what we already know what the NFL is, but like, what is the Blackstone investment firm, and why would he go into this particular building to do that particular thing, right? We'll look into it here in a second. And someone just said, Natasha B just said that the cop has passed. Well, R.I.P. Okay. R.I.P. For those of y'all who are just getting here, let me just explain. Yes, I that's the thing, Yvonne. There's been the thing. Some places have been saying that he's gone. We're just reading from Fox News here. In this article here, they're saying that he is gone. So apparently he turned the weapon onto himself. Okay, for lack of a better term. But the suspect has now been neutralized. Okay, he gone. All right. So he's not going to be bringing any more sorrow or pain to anyone anymore. He has passed on. Okay. Which of course this is some wild stuff. So for those of y'all who are just getting here, just a quick recap, because of course I'm going to get into it very quickly. There was an assailant that came into Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan, walked into a building that housed the Blackstone investment firm and the NFL, and opened fire. Of course, I'm going to try to find out as much information as I can as we continue going here, but they say at least 6 people were hit. One of them was an NYPD officer. That officer lost his life, but that's all I know so far, right? So let's continue on, all right? So video taken by Fox 5 New York, by a Fox 5 New York employee, showed several officers carrying a person, and other officers appeared to be tending to a person laying on the ground. The news outlet reported the number of people unalived, citing law enforcement sources. So the gunman was armed with a rifle and first opened fire in the lobby of the building on 52nd Street and Park Avenue. Like I said, New York is New York. It is very, very busy. I don't think there's ever a time where the streets aren't filled with people. And I'm saying 24/7. So the fact that this person walked into a building, which probably was packed with people, okay, and did this, for a fact he was going to be able to do some carnage, unfortunately, okay? And the fact that it's 52nd Street and Park Avenue, that's a busy part of town, y'all. This is Midtown. Busy, babies. So he went to another floor and shot people there. Sources told the Fox News, before going up to the 33rd floor and then turning the weapon onto himself. Don't worry, we're going to get into some videos, etc., all that too. And I know X is flooding with stuff as well. Okay. So the security officer who works in the building was one of the people that was actually hit, sources say. During this actual tragedy, people inside the building were hiding on different floors, kitchens, and bathrooms. I mean, you try to find any place you can, right? NYPD and Sheriff's Department officers in protective gear were seen with guns drawn. New Yorkers, there's an active monster investigation taking place in Midtown right now. This is what the New York City Mayor Eric Adams wrote on X. Please take proper safety precautions if you are in the vicinity, and do not go outside if you are near Park Avenue and East 51st Street. Officers were sweeping the building to see if there was an actual second assailant present, which is obviously a very good possibility, right? There's going to be all kinds of, like we've heard a few times, there being more than just one assailant, right? They're all there for the same agenda, for the same goal, right? To wreak havoc and to, I guess, press or push their narrative out here, right? So again, this is very interesting nonetheless, okay? I'm just going to be completely real, but let's continue on. The city's emergency notification system told followers to expect traffic and mass transit disruptions. So FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, I guess, took his head out of the Epstein files for a second and said that the FBI New York field office management personnel and agents are responding to provide support at the active crime scene. Let's take a look at this here. There's been a lot of live footage, a lot of live coverage, but I'm gonna go straight over here and we're gonna move back a little bit so you guys know this happened about 45 minutes to an hour ago, just so you guys know. So a lot of craziness going on. Let's take a look at what's going on here, shall we?
Is there other helicopters here? No.
Massive police presence. Look at that.
Okay.
Insane, y'all.
Maybe we can creep forward and shoot back because it looks like everything is going on at the building to our left behind this white corner there.
And also, there's been a lot of other. I'm gonna mute this really quick because I know it's going to be going over to a reporter that's on the street here really quick. But here's what's very wild about this. There's been a lot of mass tragedies as of the last 48 hours. I mean, there was a stabbing, right? That happened. I forgot what area that was. I don't know if it was Michigan or something like that. But anyway, some dude just walked into a Walmart and just started poking people. Real talk, right? And then a civilian had to basically do a civilian arrest right in the parking lot. Okay. So there's been just insane stuff that's been going on recently over the past literally 48 hours. It's been crazy. Yeah, in Michigan, right? Yeah, I thought it was Michigan. See, I see these things. I just don't get a chance to go live and give you guys that information all the time. But that's some crazy stuff too. Dude just went totally unhinged and just wanted to hurt a whole lot of people, right? Then there was another situation where there was a pew-pewing again in Reno, Nevada at a casino. That just happened earlier today. Didn't that happen today? Okay. And then, Debbie Gibby is saying a boat crash in Miami. 2 kids lost their lives. Oh my God. Like I said, it's just insane how much craziness that's been going on over the past, literally, like I said, over the past 48 hours. Okay. Too much carnage, too much death. Real talk. Too many people trying to do bad things. Okay. It's really, really bad. Now, again, this is just insane. Insane. So I'm going to scoot it up a little bit more so we can get to the news. Okay. Or get to the reporter that's out there on the streets. She's interviewing people and stuff like that. Let's take a look at that here in a second.
Is just 1 block from here, okay? 1 block from here at 51st Street. And then you would make a right. It's down that side street, 51st and Park Avenue. Now, again, I want you to go ahead, push into the mayor because I want to stay on top of what the mayor's doing. And see at what point they are actually the mayor is going. He went underneath the yellow tape. He is now approaching 51st Street. Let's go over here, Gus. Just get in the middle of the street. Just go ahead. Get over there. I want you to stay on with the mayor, if you would, please. Okay. And again,
crazy.
Linda Schmidt with Fox 5 News here. I'm out here with Gus Batista. He is my cameraman. And we are reporting from Midtown. Now, again, the mayor just crossed the yellow police line. He is walking toward 51st Street, which is 1 block from here. And then if you would make that right on 51st, it is just down, excuse me, a short distance, which is the entryway to where my colleague, Matt Otimus, and we'll be talking to Matt here again in just a moment, where he saw all of the officers with their guns drawn at the door and then saw multiple officers carrying out someone. It appeared to be a man in a uniform who apparently had been shot. So Gus, go ahead. We can just show the rest of the scene here. Again, we have state police on the scene, literally hundreds of police officers. Now, because I'm monitoring, hold on just a second. because I'm monitoring other sources of information, I'm not able to make phone calls to my sources while I'm going live here and reading information coming in from some of my colleagues. But again, my colleague Arthur Sheehan posting for us, and I'm just reading what he wrote. For background, officers on paid detail are technically off duty. Okay. New Yorkers commonly see them in the businesses that pay for additional security. Okay. The gunman walked in with an AR-15 in clear view. Do we have pictures? I mean, I'm looking at the pictures right now. Yeah.
You got to be absolutely in. Like, do you understand how crazy you have to be? Like, what? All right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm just like, what in the hell is going on? Okay. And of course, I'm kind of curious. We already know what the NFL is. All right. But I'm curious why he walked into this specific building that housed Blackstone Investment, not BlackRock, guys, not BlackRock, because I know the conspiracy theories are running it because of the word, the name and the title BlackRock. It's not BlackRock. It is Blackstone Investments. So I'm kind of curious about that too. But I'm wondering why he walked into this space and did this in this building, right? So again, who is this guy? What was his agenda? Did he leave a note behind or some sort of manifesto? Because I have a feeling this type of mother lover did, right? And he apparently, they're saying that he had like Nevada license plates, but I don't know if that's entirely correct, right? So again, this is very, very interesting. We're going to continue on. It's not BlackRock, it's Blackstone. Yeah, I know. BlackRock, Blackstone, it's kind of the same thing. It probably isn't, but I don't know. Let me look up and see what it is. And this, yes, Nicole B, this is absolutely a targeted attack. He walked in nonchalant. She just said it. Broad daylight. Brazenly just walked in, that mother lover. Okay? Not giving two damns if he was seen brandishing this type of heavy artillery. He didn't care. You see what I'm saying? So this is insane. And so classic, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I was right about that. So Nevada license plates. And again, some people are wondering, is there a connection between the shooting that happened in Reno and the shooting that happened here in New York City? I don't know. There might be a connection. It can't be the same dude because that's some really fast driving. Okay. So it's not the same dude, but maybe there is a connection. We don't know, right? So again, let's continue. Let me pull up Blackstone. I'm kind of curious about Blackstone and see what that's all about. Let's continue.
One of our colleagues, Peter Fassini, just posted 2 pictures of the suspect walking in, and he is walking down, it looks like Park Avenue. Mm-hmm. Yep, I mean, broad daylight, right past the Bank of America building?
Yep, that's the little Esplanade, Bank of America. There's Park Avenue right there.
Oh my gosh. Walks in, the guy's wearing, hold on just a second. Oh, okay, hold on just a second. All right. The police department is making us move away from the location where we are now, but I want to continue to describe. I hope you guys have the pictures. The suspect apparently wearing a blue blazer. It looks like a navy blue blazer, either a light blue or a white collared shirt. Sneakers, like black and white sneakers. Looks like to be like a pair of dark jeans, carrying what appears to be an AR-15. Oh, sorry.
And shades.
I got to move. Cops are yelling at us. Okay, thanks, guys. Be careful. Carrying what appears to be an AR-15. He's holding it down by his side as he is walking, and he seems to be walking with purpose. It's not like he's just casually walking along the street. It looks like he is intent, obviously, with an AR-15 of carrying out something destructive. But what's really striking me about this is that it's broad daylight, and apparently nobody in this moment noticed that this man was walking with an AR-15. And the picture, it is absolutely clear.
Yeah, you can really see it. Hold on there with the mod.
Oh, okay. All right.
Wow.
Now, my colleague, Matt, let's hop back.
Let me pause this really quick, just so you guys know. Blackstone. I'm just reading this off of Google AI. They're just breaking it down for me. I said, what is Blackstone New York City? So, or Blackstone Inc. So Blackstone, officially known as Blackstone Inc., is a leading global investment firm based in New York City. It's the world's largest alternative asset manager, overseeing nearly $1.2 trillion in assets. Blackstone focuses on private equity, real estate, credit, and hedge fund investment strategies, as well as financial advisory services. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And that's in the same building as the NFL. Just so you all know, okay? Interesting, for sure. I mean, was he trying to do a Mr. Robot thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Is there something else going on here? Clearly, there's something else going on here. He wouldn't just walk into that specific building for no specific reason, just because he just wanted to see a whole lot of red. That doesn't make any sense. So something weird is going on here, and it makes me wonder: could it be he wanted to Mr. Robot this stuff? Have you ever seen that show? Have you ever seen Mr. Robot? Or like the Fight Club? He wanted the Fight Club this stuff? Maybe get everybody back down to zero? You see what I'm saying? Kill everyone's debt? I don't know. It just seems weird that he would go into this building of all places that houses the NFL and Blackstone Inc. Okay, an investment company that deals with trillions of dollars, right? From everything from credit all the way to real estate and then some. Why would he walk into that place of all places? Like I said, is it a Fight Club, Mr. Robot type of thing? And if you haven't seen Mr. Robot, I hope to God you've seen Fight Club, because it's basically the same premise in a way. Okay? And if you haven't seen any of them, then you're missing out on some great TV and a great movie. But moving on, maybe he was trying to do something like that. I don't know. Like I said, I wonder if he's going to leave, if he left something behind, like a note, manifesto, etc.
In here, just go ahead, leave that back there. That's right. We're all helping each other out here, okay? This is breaking news. We haven't been experiencing anything like this in quite some time. So now, you were here when all of this went down. You're just on your way home from work.
I was going home. I was going to Grand Central to catch my train to go home. I had my headphones on, and I tell you, I won't wear my headphones again, because I saw a rush of people coming past me. A lot of people. It didn't look like just normal 1 or 2 people walking by me.
Right.
It was a rush of people, and I took my headphones out, and somebody said gunshots. And then I didn't hear anything. And then so I started walking back to check it out. And then somebody said gunshots, shooter, active shooter. And then I saw cops going into the Bank of America building on the side entrance with the guns drawn. And then that's when I just kind of backed up and just see what was going on. Then a bunch of people started running out of that building. And then that's when I saw 4 police officers bringing out another individual that was in a uniform that looked injured. They were carrying him out.
Okay, all right. So the gentleman that carried out was wearing some type of a uniform, but again, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if
what his job.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a security guard or if it was a police officer. It was wearing a blue uniform, and they're carrying him by his arms and his legs out of the rushing out of the building.
And the thing of it is too, because we are in the news business, where whenever anything like this happens, we just don't walk by it. Matt stops, of course, and he starts taking video of the different things that he had seen. And you posted that video of showing it was multiple police officers with their guns drawn at the door. And then you saw the SWAT team showing up.
And I saw the SWAT team later on. I saw the SWAT team going in. The police presence became much more heavy, more police officers, lots of sirens, ambulance. It all started that you see right here.
He's a colleague of ours. Matt works for Fox 5. Yeah. Some of our colleagues here from some of the other TV stations thinking that Matt is just somebody else who's walking along the street here who saw something, so they wanted to try to do an interview with him. So, which is understandable. So now, then you overheard people talking, some witnesses. What'd you hear?
We were there. I was there with my camera, kind of recording as much as I could. I did speak to an individual that was closer to the church, where there's a lot of people that kind of sit there and wait for, I think it's food donations, or they're there.
Right.
And they said that a woman said that she saw somebody with an AR-15 going into the building. And then so that confirms what Arthur Chen said in the photograph, confirms what that eyewitness saw, that there was somebody walking the building with AR-15 in sneakers. Just going right into the building.
And once again, I'm looking at that video that our colleague Peter Fassini from a law enforcement source, and it is the picture of the alleged suspect.
Mm-hmm.
And again, walking, I mean, it's really stunning to me.
Yeah.
Walking in broad, after everything that we do in this business, it's still shocking to me when I see something like this. But it's broad daylight.
Yeah, especially across that esplanade, which is wide open. You wonder if he had to get out of a car. How did he get there? He obviously did not walk down the street with an AR-15 all the way the entire way. So you just don't know where he came from, if he got out of a vehicle or what. Because I didn't see anything that looked like that, and nobody was reacting until people just started running after they said they heard gunshots. And later on, when I was going back and checking these out, I did hear a gunshot. So
okay, now something else, and this is information again that's coming in from our colleagues who are back at the station and other locations, and they are reaching out to their sources to get the information. My colleague Arthur Chen reporting from a source. Now, again, all this information is preliminary, that the shooter ended up shooting himself, self-inflicted gunshot wound found on the 33rd floor. Okay, let me see here. The person that you saw being carried out of the building was taken to New York Presbyterian, which is not far from here at all, one of the best hospitals in the world. And apparently that person is in bad shape, according to my colleague, Arthur Chen. I mean, we can only pray that whoever this person is, that they pull out of this. But again, he is hearing from a source that the shooter shot himself, that he is down on the 33rd floor of the building. So talk to me a little bit more. Hold on just a second. The gunman walked in with an AR-15 again in clear view, which you and I have been talking about. He was also wearing sunglasses, dark sunglasses, navy jacket, black jeans, and sneakers. Let me see.
I mean, dude looked like he was just a regular New Yorker, just a regular dude just walking around. But then he just had that weapon right next to him, which is just insane, right? Now he went to the 33rd floor. I'm reading from you guys. You're saying that that's the NFL floor. The 33rd floor is the NFL floor. I'm curious, but still, no matter what, this is absolutely insane. For those of y'all who are just getting here, let me just say this really quick, just a quick recap, because I know you guys are all not hip to this, and you're probably wanting to know what's going on. There was an active assailant. That assailant now is gone, but he opened fire in a building that housed, multiple other businesses, I'm sure, but it housed the Blackstone, or houses the Blackstone investment company, and also the NFL. He walked into that building and he opened fire on a bunch of people. And then actually he opened fire in the middle of the street too, because there's footage of a guy getting picked up by police, and they're of course administering first aid, life-preserving measures to try to save this guy who just actually got hit by the assailant as he apparently runs into a building and, of course, does this terrible thing. Now, they say that they found his body on the 33rd floor, this assailant, due to something he pulled the trigger on himself. So he is no longer here. But there has been 6 people that have been hit. One of them happens to be an officer that lost his life. So far, there has been one casualty aside from the actual assailant himself. Okay. This is absolutely terrifying. This is sad. Of course, this is all still developing. We're trying to get as much information as we can. He might be black. He might not be. You know what I mean? We'll see. He looks black, but he might not be. You never know. We'll see what the whole story is, right? I mean, evil wears many faces, and it doesn't care about race or gender. Okay? Evil wears many faces. Let's continue on, though. This is crazy.
Did anything? Okay, hold on. Confirm.
And Linda, the police were in there for a while. Like they were.
Oh, sorry, cops are coming through here. I gotta move. Get over to the other side. That street or that area where it's happening, you still don't realize. So that's what police are dealing with. They're having to push back literally hundreds and hundreds of people who are walking along the sidewalks on 50th, 51st, 52nd, 53rd, between Lexington and Park and Madison, because they have to keep the public away. So, and they keep pushing back the media.
There were 4 officers that were carrying, which I thought was another officer. It could have been a security guard or another person in a uniform. It looked like they were injured because they were carrying them out by their hands and their feet across the Esplanade to another police car or ambulance that was waiting.
Okay, and then also you were talking to some of the people who were around here even prior to you arriving on the scene. Talk to us. What did they say?
Yeah, a bunch of people that were sitting by the church said that one witness said that he was talking to a woman who saw somebody with an AR-15 going into the building, and that's when they heard automatic gunfire. I heard gunshots, not so much rapid fire like an AR-15, but just I heard like a pop-pop that kind of supports that.
Okay. But all right, go ahead, continue talking. Police they want us to move further back, so hold on. We got it. Thank you so much. Thank you. So police are moving us back. Hold on. Go ahead. Police are moving us back here. They want us to get as far back from Park Avenue because this incident that happened just around the block from where we are right now. So
someone walked.
He said that someone saw him walk in.
They're not too far away from us, and they've been pushing us back for quite some time as well since we've gotten here. And we talked to a bunch of witnesses who told us they heard some of those shots ring out, and they also heard warnings coming from other citizens that there was a shooter inside that building. And I have some of those witnesses right here. I'm going to be joined by one of the individuals who was inside pretty close by. Talk to me about what you saw, what you heard. Just tell me about it.
I was city biking home from work today from downtown, and I pulled up and I saw 3 or 4 cops, going in with guns. I saw a car, black, BMW parked right outside the building, which looked like, the shooter's car. And then I saw, 5 minutes later, 2 people getting dragged out by police. Not sure if it was the shooter or civilians, but I saw 2 people, immediately put in an ambulance. Couldn't tell if they were alive or dead, but it's pretty scary.
You said that you thought there was some sort of robbery or something going on.
Yeah, it looked at first like it was robbery, and then they, transitioned into I believe that's the Blackstone building. And then, 3 or 4 cops immediately went in, and then, 5 minutes later, a couple hundred cops and, first responders showed up, and, 2 people came out, in the hands of the law enforcement. I'm not sure if they were alive or dead, but it looked like, it looked kind of dead to me.
And to see this type of response here along Park Avenue, a bunch of businesses, including where you work as well. I mean, the surprise about it.
Yeah, sorry, say that again.
To see this type of response here along Park Avenue, I mean, nobody could imagine.
Yeah, it's shocking. I've been living here for 7 or 8 years, and I've never witnessed something like this. Very sad, and I hope everyone's okay. And shout out to the police and first responders for showing up within minutes to the situation. So I hope everyone's okay. Yeah. So
there's other witnesses here, folks here in this area who are evacuated. They've been here for a while, and we're going to bring a couple more in. Just what did you see earlier when you got here? Just talk to me about it.
So my office has an exit on 52nd and Park, so I was just leaving to go home, and I go east, and we were on the block, saw just a few cop cars, a few machine guns like running around, and then out of nowhere they started pushing us down to 53rd because they realized that the shooter was in the 30th window and we were in the shooting zone. And then, you know, cops and ambulances have just been coming like crazy.
You've been here for how long now?
About an hour and a half now, trying to wait. Originally, we were back over on 51st and 52nd, and they started coming like right away, saying, "Get back, get back." Then you started hearing and seeing cop cars coming from all different directions, the ambulances shutting down the roads, and then we've just progressively been like shut down more and more. And when we asked a police officer, they did confirm there was an active shooter, as if we didn't already know, but they haven't given us any other details. We're finding out from the news more than we are the police officers at this point.
Obviously, it's definitely a situation here. We spoke with another individual who also saw that was evacuated as well. We'll give you the latest on that in just a minute.
Yeah, Kendall, witnesses there painting a really terrifying scene, talking about a shooter perhaps on the 30th floor with police officers running with machine guns. I know that officers are pushing a lot of our reporters around this perimeter. As you can see behind you, still a very active scene. Maybe you can tell us about what's in that area in terms of the building. So I've heard Bank of America, potentially a Blackstone building as well. Any idea of the different businesses that are in that building?
Yeah, there's probably a multitude.
I can't tell you the particular buildings that's well, the businesses specifically, but Blackstone, I believe, owns 943 Park, well, 349 Park, and I believe Bank of America is housed within that building as well. So all of the different buildings, not specific. I can't give you specifics on it. I'm sorry about that.
Let me pause that for a second. We're coming back to that, I promise, because there's a lot of chaos going on. Ground zero at the area where this whole thing went down. But there's a couple updates I want to give you guys. And now I'm hearing that there's possibly more than just one person that's lost his life. They're apparently saying that, I don't know. They're saying now, and this number could change, okay? But they're now saying, breaking, that 3 individuals have lost their lives, okay? That includes an off-duty officer in this Midtown shooting. So now they're saying 3 individuals have lost their lives. That is subject to change. That can go up. God only knows. But let's take a look at this here too. And don't worry, we're going to be looking at a lot of stuff because this thing is still ongoing. This is still developing. This is absolutely insane. And I'm still trying to get more information because I actually want to know who this assailant is, right? Who is this guy? Because I'm curious about that. Yeah, like I said, there's apparently rumors saying that 6 people have lost their lives. I don't see that yet, but when we get that information, I'll break it to you guys here. Okay. So this is just absolutely insane. 2025 has been wilding out here. Brakes completely just ripped all the way off this mother lover. And I can't believe this is even real. And my prayers go out to all of New York because this is terrible news. All right. So again, more information. We're going to look at as much information as we can. They said 6 people were injured, but now that could be subject to change. Now they're saying 3 people have lost their lives. So let's take a look at this. And apparently they say that it's all 6 people that have lost their lives. I'm not sure about that yet. When I hear that from some source, from a reliable source, we will talk about it, okay? But I'm also very curious as to who the F is this guy, right? Who is this mother lover, okay? This monster. And why would he do such a thing as this? So a man armed with a long gun entered 345 Park Avenue, where he unalived, now they're saying 3 people, including at least 1 off-duty officer, NYPD officer, before the actual assailant himself was found gone on the 33rd floor after barricading himself, according to multiple sources. So this whole thing happened just before 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the building that contains the offices for Blackstone and NFL headquarters. Now, police believe the gunman entered the building and, while in the lobby, fired at a police officer who was working private security at the time. He was actually hit, and then he hit and took the lives of at least 2 other people. So in other words, including the assailant, 4. There's 4 deaths in this situation, but clearly we put the assailant off to the side. Okay, so there's 3 deaths so far. 3 victims lost their lives. They said that 6 people were hit. So half of the people have lost their lives so far. We'll see if that number changes. It could very well change, and it could very well not change. But I'm hoping it doesn't change, right? But anything's possible. All these people, I'm sure, are in the hospital fighting for their lives as we speak. Okay? Yeah, we don't count the gunman. He can go F himself. Real talk. Moving on. At this time, this is what the NYPD Police Commissioner Tish said on X, okay? At this time, the scene has been contained and the lone assailant has been neutralized. So he gone. All threats are gone. They believe he worked and operated alone. Some of the employees inside 345 Park Avenue have been advised that the quote-unquote threat has been resolved, but are being asked to continue sheltering in place and only leave the building with a police escort, according to a message sent to the employees. You want to know why? You want to know why they're saying that? Because there could very well be an inside man. There could very well be an inside man. There's still a possibility that this guy did not operate alone. So, of course, they're going to do everything they can to see what's going on and make sure everyone's cleared before they leave out the door. Because somebody could still be lying in wait, waiting for their opportunity to pounce or cause more terror. You see what I'm saying? So I don't blame them for sitting there going like, please, when you leave, make sure you're leaving with a police escort, you know? I don't blame them for, making sure everything's legit before everyone's cleared before they leave. Because honestly, everybody's a suspect at this point. Okay? The officer was taken to Wheel Carnell Medical Center, where he was pronounced gone. At least one civilian was taken to Bellevue Hospital. A security cam image shows the apparent monster, the assailant, okay, holding a long gun, walking outside the office building. He's walking towards it like it's nothing. And we've seen the photo, but I'll show it to you guys again. Look at this guy. He's chilling in the cut, nonchalantly walking in, just doing whatever the hell he wants. It's interesting that nobody screamed as he was walking in, like just walking down the street, walking up towards the building. No one reacted in a way like, holy, you know what I mean? What's that guy doing? You know what I mean? Calling 911, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's just some wild stuff, y'all. Broad daylight, too. Broad daylight. Okay? Officials are asking people to avoid the areas, which we already know. Okay? I'm going to look up some more information. I'm going to skip ahead with this. Or actually, let me play a little bit of this because there's some sky eye, like bird's eye view of the police going in and everything.
Yeah. So you're on Park Avenue near 52nd. Where are we seeing, and I think right now we're looking at Skyfox video too from one of the vehicles here. Again, just you're joining us right now. We know that 2 people have been shot at a Midtown Manhattan office building. This is 52nd between Park and Lexington Avenue. We've been hearing a lot of witness accounts there on the scene with a number of our reporters in that area. Please avoid it because, as you can see, it's still a very heavy police presence. We've heard that people saying that they heard gunshots. They saw someone walking in with an AR-15 gun. We do know that at least 2 people have been shot. Our Kendall Green is on the scene, as well as Linda Schmidt. They're just being moved around in that very, very active scene. Again, a massive police presence. We're hearing a lot of information coming in, drips and drabs. At least 2 people, again, have been shot. This is out on 52nd and Park Avenue. Wondering if we can go to any of our reporters there on the scene and see if we can get a little bit more witness accounts. Okay, we don't have any reporters, but what we have been hearing is that it's been a very scary situation. Again, just to paint a picture of where this is. This is Midtown Manhattan, a very busy area in terms of there's an MTA station, subway station right there, 53rd and Lexington. You have a number of corporate businesses there. This all unfolding in the middle of rush hour and people getting out of their offices. So let's get back to Kendall Green, who is on the scene. Kendall, looks like you've got a witness there.
You were evacuated from the building right across the street. You were watching from a corner building. When you saw everything unfolding, talk to me about what happened. What'd you see?
Well, I work across the street here at 399 Park, which is 2 blocks away from where the shooting occurred, and it was pretty scary from a perspective of this is where we work every day, and there's an active shooter 2 blocks away. So, it was pretty scary for a solid 30-40 minutes.
And the amount of businesses that are on this strip, how many different businesses are right there where you are?
There's hundreds of very high-end financial firms, hedge funds, law firms that were all working at 5-6 p.m. When there was an active shooter on Park Avenue here. So a scary time for a lot of us.
And when you guys were getting evacuated, they were telling you were in some type of zone or a shooting zone, or you were in danger. What did the authorities tell you then?
Well, they were telling us not to evacuate. They were telling us to shelter in place and to get away from the windows because they didn't know where the shooter was.
Okay. Obviously, it's a scary situation.
Very scary, yes.
Yeah. Well, he was there inside the building that was evacuated right across, and he was told to shelter in place because that active shooting was going on. So, definitely shaking up people here in this area, Natasha.
Yeah. All right, Kendall, thank you so much. And look at this. We just got a picture in of the suspect. In his hand, looks like that is an AR-15, or at least an assault rifle. Very scary situation, as that man just described. Again, there are a lot of hedge funds, law firms, banks in that area on Park Avenue, Midtown Manhattan. And this is a picture now we're getting of that suspect. 2 people have been shot. That man that we just heard from was one of the men who was evacuated 2 blocks away from where this active shooter scene was all going down. He said that he was evacuated for 30 to 45 minutes. Also hearing some reports that people had to shelter in place. So while this is all unfolding, really towards the end of the workday for a lot of people in that area, and so many businesses in that one building too, high-end hedge funds, law firms, banks again. So quite an active scene, a lot of police in that area, understandably so. It's a very active scene, 52nd between Park and Lexington Avenue. Let's go back to Linda Schmidt, who, when we last checked in with her, she was being moved due to that active scene. So, Linda, any new updates you can share with us? I know you're with Matt Onimus right now, who, was walking by when he heard
this guy again. Okay. They're going to repeat that over and over and over and over again. I just wanted to pull this up. So take a look at this guy right here. Okay. And there's something else I need to pull up so you guys can see this as well. Apparently this guy's ID is out here for everyone to see, which is very interesting. They move quick up here, y'all. They move quick. So apparently, what the hell? Okay. So apparently, hold on. Before I show this to you guys, let's take a look at this clip here first. Because they are saying, this man apparently is 27 years old. Okay, that he looked like a hard 27. But moving in and moving on. Let's take a look at this here really quick.
You've got some new reporting. What have you learned?
So what we have learned is police have tentatively identified the gunman as a 27-year-old man from Las Vegas, Nevada. Preliminary checks based on his name, his date of birth, don't show any significant criminal background. Still an open question as to why he was going to that building and what his particular target was. But now NYPD is on with the FBI. NYPD is on with our friend, Sheriff Kevin McMahill in Las Vegas, with whom NYPD has a very close relationship because of the normal crossover between those two cities. And they are going to end up securing that person's residence, preparing search warrants, looking to interview friends and family, and start to build that picture as to who was this individual, now that they have a name, and why was he there?
What was up?
And what was behind.
We've got some new reports.
That is the question. Why is this guy here? Why was he here in the first place? This guy is from Nevada, okay? And this is what they have right now. This is the guy. Apparently, his name is Shane D. Tamara. Shane D. Tamara. Take a look at this, though. He has a Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department concealed firearms permit. So what is this all about? What's this all about, y'all? It expires. It was issued in June 14th of 2022, and it was still active. Like it doesn't expire until June 14th of 2027. So why was this guy from Las Vegas? So that is correct. He had Las Vegas plates. He is literally from Las Vegas. Why would this guy by the name of Shane D. Tamara or Tamura, why would he, of all people, 27 years old, by the way, 27 years old, be out there walking into a building, opening fire on innocent lives, and taking out as many people as he can before he takes his own self out? That's weird, right? That's really, really weird. So again, this doesn't make any... It doesn't make any sense. Okay? Hold on. And Pink Ice, I would just say send an email. I don't know anything about that story. I need to look it up and all that, but send, email me, send me whatever, and hopefully we can set something up and talk in the future. But I don't know that case. To be honest and trying to be as respectful, I have to look it up and see what's going on. Okay, Pink Ice? But yeah, you can always email me, send me that stuff, send me info, let me know what's going on, and then we could talk about that here in the future. But here's the thing. Back to the case. This is wild. His name is Shane. Again, Shane D. Tamura. Okay? It's quick how they got that stuff out here. Like that. I mean, if the show looks like him, though, look. Look at the dude. Hold up. Boom. It definitely looks like him. Hasn't changed his hairstyle or how he cuts his facial hair in years. Pull this up one more again. Splat out. Look at that. Same hairstyle, same look. And he has a conceal and carry. A CCW. Interesting, right? Interesting. Let's continue on. I mean, of course, that is stuff that is still, developing. But this is what people are sharing out on the internet. And let me just say this too. Let's, we can take everything with a grain of salt that, you know what I mean, as we start to hear more and more information. Okay. But like I said, this is very interesting. Some are saying he's a Middle Eastern man. Some are saying that he's black. I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I mean, who is this guy and why did he do what he did, right? Now, there is something else, and I don't know if this is the same. I don't know if this has anything to do with what happened in the building, okay, with this assailant, with this guy, right? But they keep on sharing. People are sharing this video that was from Freedom News TV, I'm sorry, where they're saying this. They're saying that currently in custody, confirmed victim NYPD reports indicate suspect with armed was armed with an AR-15 style rifle. Around 100 people sheltered in an area while the suspect was on the 32nd floor. Now, what's interesting about this is that if this is the same video, if this is the same doggone video, yeah, I don't know what this is all about, because I know that there's been protests going on out there as well. Palestinian protests have been going on as well, which has been pretty crazy. And so I keep thinking that, excuse me, maybe the people that actually got, excuse me, that maybe there's some people that actually got arrested while this whole thing was going down at the same time. You see what I'm saying? But again, I don't know. This is just very, very odd. Okay. But I'm going to share this with you guys regardless, so you guys can see this for yourself. Okay.
Cover the back. Cover the back. Back up. Back up. Back up. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. You gotta move back. You gotta move back. Move back. Move back. Let's go. Move back. Move back. Move back. Move back. Move back. Move back. Let's go. Let's go.
Now, like I said, we got to take this with a grain of salt, because I don't know if this has any connection to, the dude, okay, to this assailant or not. But people are trying to, you know what I mean, connect these dots. Like I said, even so, that's funny, Nicole, that you said, Paris Baguette, because literally I was going to look up to see what the address is to the Paris Baguette, because I'm kind of curious if this was happening literally right down the street from where the shooting was happening, or if this was just like another arrest that just happened to happen around the same area. You see what I'm saying? So I'm still trying to figure that out, but let me let this cook.
This guy, he comes out of here with the he's from Palestine. He keeps saying free Palestine. He got his face covered up in the Palestine stuff. He walking out. The police don't pay him no mind. I said it's him. And then they end up getting him. They got him and they put him to the ground and they got him. Tried to bomb it up. I don't know. He tried to bomb it up, and so did the lady. The lady that he came in there with, she left with a red bruise on her face, though. She went down in. She was with him?
So we don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't know if this has any connection to what actually happened at that building. You see what I'm saying? So that's one thing I'm still trying to figure out. But people, listen, it's New York City. Let me repeat this again. It's New York City. There's all kinds of crazy things that are going on in New York City on a daily basis, okay? There are multiple tragedies that are happening in New York City all at the same doggone time, because that's how busy New York City is. But still, nonetheless, this is some weird and some wild stuff, and I'm still wondering, is there indeed a connection here or not? And I'm going to tell you, you know how New York City traffic go. So you really think that you're going to get there faster than the people on foot with this kind of traffic in New York City? I'm just saying, y'all. I mean, shoot, that's 54th Street right there. That's 54th Street right there. So maybe there is a connection here. I don't know. Like I said, it's I'm trying to make it make sense for me too. and see if there is a connection here. But that looked like 54th Street right there. 51st Street, I mean, 51st. Son of a gun.
Can you do me a favor? Can you?
Lexington Ave. Yeah, this is Midtown area. That's some crazy stuff. I'm going to play the beginning of it, though, because this is where all the chaos is right here.
Cover the back.
Back up. Back it up. You gotta move back. Move back. Let's go. Move back. Let's go.
And I will say this, you never know. Maybe somebody out here, maybe that girl or anybody else was feeling inspired by the tragedy that was actually happening on 52nd Street, you know what I mean, in Midtown, and maybe she was screaming all kinds of stuff, saying that she had something on her that she shouldn't have had or something like that. You see what I'm saying? So there could be a connection solely because she's just crazy and just wanted to capitalize on the situation, saying something that's not true, or maybe she did have something on her. I don't know. But it is pretty wild that this all happened in Midtown at the same time that this tragedy is happening in Midtown too. You see what I'm saying? So maybe there is a connection here.
Back up.
Crazy. What in the hell is the connection here? That's what I'd like to know. If there's a connection, what is the connection, right? We're going to continue on, though, because there's a lot going on here, obviously. And I know we all have a lot of questions. There's a lot of live footage, lot of live coverage that's going on right now. So we're going to look at those things too. But I do want to show you guys this too. Just a few more updates that are popping off. Like there's already one here. So let me see this. Okay, let's see. So like some live updates. So I'm going to go down a little bit so you guys can see a few things, because I know, yep, Mayor Eric Adams speaks. Let's see. Federal team is at the scene. Multiple injuries and shooting. So Mayor Eric Adams said tonight that multiple people have been shot and injured in Manhattan gunfire. Unfortunately, we had a shooting here with multiple injuries, he said, in a video on X, which we're going to see here in a second. The lone perpetrator, is neutralized at this time. So he said in a post, let's take a look at that. He said, this is from Mayor Eric Adams. He said, I've been at the shooting. I've been on the scene at the shooting in Midtown, and we can report the shooter has been neutralized. The NYPD is now searching 345 Park Avenue carefully. If you're in the building, please stay where you are. People have been hit and injured, and I will soon be going to the hospital. And I'm wondering if there's going to be a press conference at least at some point here soon, so we can get more transparency on what actually happened here. But let's hear what Mayor Eric Adams has to say. I'm wondering if he's saying, I'm not a crook. Let's continue. I'm just joking. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking.
New Yorkers, this is Mayor Eric Adams, and I'm here at the scene of 51st and Park Avenue. Unfortunately, we had a shooting here where with multiple injuries, the perpetrator, the known perpetrator, is neutralized at this time. Those who are in the building, we're asking you to remain inside as police officers are doing a floor-by-floor search. We believe, again, the perpetrator is neutralized at this time. We're going over to the hospital to speak with the family and loved ones involved in this incident. We did have a shooter with multiple injuries at this time, but the perpetrator is neutralized.
Okay. But of course, he said, letting everybody know, be rest assured, the assailant is gone. He has been neutralized. The threat is gone. That's what he's saying. All right. But let's continue on. And he's right. Like anybody who has access or who is in the building, stay there until they actually move you out. You see what I'm saying? Because that's some crazy stuff, right? So video shows more than a dozen officers entering the skyscraper. So cell phone video taken from a nearby building shows about 20 officers entering the skyscraper. That's the site of tonight's shooting. Let's take a look at this. Jeez.
Whether you're a professional driver or just a fan, vehicle breakdowns are costly.
Okay. We'll just kill that sound. We don't need commercials. #clean. www.clean. Code word key clean. So yeah. So relief felt on New York City streets after reports of gunmen's passing. Let's see what's going on.
We understand Steve Romo. You just saw a shot of Stephen Romo. He is now at the scene. Steve, can you tell us what's it looking like from your vantage point?
Yeah, Gotti, as you can imagine, a chaotic situation. Some relief in the crowd getting that news that this suspected the shooter has been neutralized. You can see that the traffic, though, is still closed on this block. We actually just saw some office workers who have been released from their building, many of them being told to shelter in place, now able to finally walk out, clearly in relief that they were able to leave their office building right now. So you mentioned just where this building is, you and Tom Winter. This is a massive building. It takes up this entire city block, the NFL and other major corporations working there. There's also a bank branch, just normal everyday people living their lives. And then all of a sudden they get the breaking news about this happening. So as you can see, we keep moving. So police officers, there are still more vehicles coming in and out from this investigation. We know the FBI, Pam Bondi just mentioning, more federal officials are located there as well, involved in this investigation to try to get this latest information. The crowds, though, there have been just talking to people trying to make my way over here, hearing that there was a shooter on the loose in Midtown Manhattan at this rush hour. You can imagine the type of panic that caused. Many people are scared, trying to avoid the area. Others were trying to make their way over either because they know someone who works there or they're just curious to know what exactly is going on. Again, there is a bit of relief knowing that suspect has been neutralized, but still people, of course, want answers as to why this happened, to know if this person was working alone. And a lot of those questions are the ones we're waiting for as well, Gotti.
And Stephen, as we're looking at that image of the shooter on his way into the building, do we have any word on whether there was a shooting on the street and then he made his way inside, or did all of the shooting happen inside of what we believe to be 345 Park Avenue?
Right, 345 Park Avenue, quite a ways down. They have us blocked off pretty far, Gotti. No information that we've been able to gather on the scene about a shooting on the street. We have heard that as well. Just talking to people briefly here, no one that I've been able to talk to was actually at that location at the time, and they couldn't speak to it. But it's another one of the many questions that people have.
And in terms of the people that you've been talking to, we've already seen on social media all kinds of confusion, a lot of, false information about other arrests that may have been made on the streets that were unrelated to what we're seeing at that building. But is there a lot of confusion among the people that you've been speaking with?
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to a woman as I was crossing the street here. She was telling me that she was asking me what was going on if I knew, and saying that Twitter is a great, or X is a great use of information, getting information out. But she saw some information that she found out was not correct at that same time. And like we have so often now, there are people who are here to protest the NYPD as well, making it even more chaotic here for people who genuinely want to know what's going on in their neighborhood or in their workplace or with their coworkers to know that they're safe, Patty.
I mean, yeah, I feel like definitely X is going to be a spot where a lot of information is coming out quick, like the identity of this particular assailant and all that too. We got more, so we're going to look at a few more things here too. I mean, this is just crazy. Okay, but again, he has been identified. So his name really is Shane D. Tamura, 27 years old, from Las Vegas, according to 4 senior law enforcement officials briefed on that matter. And I'm trying to find out what time there's going to be a press conference. I'm going to look at that here in a second, because apparently there's going to be a press conference in like a half hour or so. So if that's the case, we'll be here to watch that as well. So please do me a favor, guys. I'm giving you guys this information, breaking the news for you guys. Hit that like button down below, please. Can we get it to like 1K? Can we get it to 1K? That'd be dope. Okay. That'd be awesome. Okay. So hit that like button down below, get it to 1K. That'd be really appreciated. And of course, don't forget to subscribe here on this YouTube channel. Okay. And hit that follow button. If you're watching on other platforms, that'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. Follow, like, and subscribe. So it felt like you were in a war zone. So Nikisha Lewis, she says right here, she's talking about this, eating dinner in the plaza near the Park Avenue building when she heard gunshots ring out and saw glass shattering from the building. Shortly after, she saw someone running from the high-rise building and calling for help. She said she noticed the person was wounded, and she said she and her partner attempted to help get him to safety. So she called this whole thing the scariest situation she's ever been in. Let's take a look.
Nikisha, thank you for sticking around. If you wouldn't mind, just repeat what you told me just a minute ago, what you witnessed.
We were in the plaza having dinner. The plaza of the NFL headquarters and Blackstone is also a nice gathering place for folks who want to have dinner in the evenings. As we were eating and talking amongst ourselves, we heard the shots, and I looked up and I saw the first wall of the first floor shatter, and I realized, oh my God, this is a shootout. It felt like you were in a war zone almost. And I saw a worker run out, but he was running so frantically, I thought he was just trying to get away. By the time he got to us, he said, help, I've been shot. And I turned to my left and looked at him and saw he had a wound in his back. And my partner, who was ahead of me, had also looked at him and seen that he had a wound, what looked like an entry wound or exit wound in the front. So it might have gone all the way through. So he helped him down, told him to get his backpack off, and we both just ran, and the police took over from there. But it's been literally like the most just scary situation I've ever been in. I've cried at least 3 times since.
I'm sorry, I can't imagine what it's like to witness something like that. Did you hear any more gunfire after that?
Just that initial round, nothing afterward. It felt like it was a shootout, like multiple people were shooting.
What was the response around you? Did other people realize what was happening?
Very, very quickly, because it was such rapid fire, like a heavy duty gun or something was involved. So everyone just ran, and then there was a very quick police response. Every agency possible in the city. So they quickly barricaded the area and told us to keep going further and further back. So we kept getting pushed further down the street.
Did the police say anything to you besides that, besides moving you out of the area?
No, but being as inquisitive as I am, I recently, like 5 minutes ago, asked a police officer if this police officer who I saw, if he had died. Like, I did see 3 people being carried out, like almost looking very, very lifeless, or they were looking limp. And I'd asked if the police officer was dead, and she said, the female police officer said she's not aware that he is dead.
That is terrifying. I'm sorry that you witnessed that. Do you know other people in the area, or were you just eating lunch there?
Yes, all of our friends. We have a friend group, and we always either have breakfast or dinner in the area. But I just want to say, for the family of that first person who ran out. He looked like he was running to make sure that he makes it home to his family. And he's probably one of the bravest people I've ever seen. Like, he didn't stop until he got to us before he was like, okay, I can't go any further.
Extremely brave of him and extremely brave of you to reach out and try to help someone in a situation like that. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us, Ms. Lewis. We certainly appreciate it. And Gotti, as you can imagine, there's going to be many more stories like this that will come out. People who witness different things as police, and now we know federal officials as well, are trying to piece together the timeline of what happened and to try to figure out what exactly took place today, Gotti.
You know what's scary about this is we live we live in some crazy times, and it's only getting crazier. That's why it's like, guys, just be careful. I mean, it feels like you can't even shoot now. It's at the point where we can't even go outside anymore. You know what I mean? It's pretty insane. There is something I do want to share with you guys. Don't know if this is 110% true or real, but the narrative and the questions are starting to brew. People are asking a lot of questions. People are starting to pop up a few things and don't know if this is actually true or not. And people move quick. I'm just going to say, like I said, take this with a grain of salt. I don't know if this is entirely this guy or not, but apparently there's a video that's circulating online right now that is showing Shane Tamura, the assailant. And could it be that he was actually going for the NFL because maybe he had dreams of being a football player, but it never happened? So he got in his feelings and then it came to this? Remember, he's 27 years old. And apparently there's a video of him right here talking about, I don't know. Like I said, we're going to look at this and we're going to find out if this is AI or not, because people work fast. Okay? People work fast. But like I said, take this with a grain of salt. If this is fake, I'm stopping it. Just so you know.
Hey, we're here with standout running back Shane Tamura from the Granada Hills football team. Big 35-31 victory against Kennedy tonight. The battle for Granada Hills. Shane, just talk about you guys getting that win tonight. How'd you guys come through?
We definitely had to stay disciplined. We were down 10-0. We definitely had to stay disciplined. Our coach kept saying, don't hold your heads down, don't hold your heads down. We just had to stay disciplined and come together as a team.
Shane, a couple of touchdowns for you, including a huge one late in the game there in the fourth quarter with under 4 minutes to go. That put you guys up 35-24, sort of sealed the game there for you guys, gave you guys a nice cushion. Take us through that play right there, jailbreak screen right there. Then you broke free about the 50-yard line and then took it to the house.
Well, our coach basically asked me, he was like, Shane, is the T-screen open? Is the T-screen open? I was like, yeah, it's definitely open. So we just threw the pass to me, Ernie threw the pass to me, and one thing led to another, and I scored.
Shane, talk about, you mentioned you guys were down 10-0, early hole. Things could have got out of control possibly. How did you guys pick yourself up off the floor after that early 10-0 deficit?
Definitely had to stay disciplined. The coaches kept telling us, don't hold your heads down. It's just the first half, or it's actually just the first quarter. We just had to keep playing, keep fighting through it, and just hold our heads up high, and then a good result's gonna come.
Whoa, that's insane. That's insane. Apparently this is an old video of him. Let's be real. He walked into the building that has the NFL and Blackstone Investment, Blackstone Inc. in it. Could it have been a situation where he was in his feelings about not making it as a pro baller? Yeah, they're saying that this is in 2016, this video. Wow. Now, it could be nothing, but it could be something too. It's Blackstone, guys, not BlackRock, Blackstone. Oh, he black. He at least half black. Okay. Tamora, he could be half Asian or something like that. But it doesn't matter. This man, grown ass man, by the way, 27 years old. This is old video. Okay. He walks into a building brandishing an AR-15, opens fire on a bunch of people, and then, of course, turns the weapon onto himself. This is a video of this guy right here when he was a kid. So there could be that theory of he could have been one of the greats. You know, I could have been a contender. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't happen that way.
That put you guys up 35-24, sort of sealed the game there.
Crazy, right? Now, if that's true, that's insane. That's insane. It's like stuff that you only see in the movies. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, I never made it. You know, I could have been something. I could have been something, right? And then they take it out on their high school football coach that they believe stifled their growth, right? But for him to go after and walk into the building that had the NFL in there too, says a lot. It does say a lot. Now, that could be a stretch too. Maybe it has nothing to do with, he just happens to be a football player, you know, played football as a kid. That could be it too. But still very interesting that that is out here. I think this is also interesting too. CNN out here messing it up because this man clearly not white. I'm sorry, but they said something. They're like, oh, he possibly could be white. No, he not white. He's not white.
Scene showing you here, John's reporting that they do know what he looks like, male, possibly white, mustache, sunglasses, in that building, isolated to, they believe, to various locations, including upper floors, is where they're focused. What are you learning, Shimon? Scene showing you here, John's reporting that they do know what he looks like.
Diggity damn. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. You know, they of course. It is what it is. Again, this is some crazy stuff too. We're going to go through some of this here too. And like I said, take a lot of this with a grain of salt because people move fast with this AI stuff. But they're saying that the photo shows employees barricading themselves inside the New York City office building during today's deadly active situation, okay, at 345 Park Avenue. Home to the NFL and Blackstone. And this is them, apparently, people barricading themselves inside. There's even a photo, which I'm not going to show to you guys here, okay? There's even a photo out here showing him gone, like in a room full of cubicles. Again, I'm not showing that to y'all. But apparently they already have like photos out here leaking all over the internet of that too. So again, pretty wild stuff, y'all. All right. And I'm still wanting to know who the F that woman was that actually got arrested outside a few blocks down from where this whole incident went down. I'm still wanting to know who the F that woman is too. Remember the cops, it was a huge frenzy, right? It was quite the frenzy getting her, down the street, handcuffed and everything. What is that all about? Hopefully they answer that here in the very, very near future. But again, like I said, this particular guy, yeah, people are going in on this, going like, CNN's white guy. But look at this. Okay. So his name is Shane Tamura. Okay. That photo, my God, he looking like Leroy. The Last Dragon, nobody. Anyway, looking like Leroy. Who's the master? But anyway, am I the baddest? Sure enough. Yeah, he's not white, guys. He's not white. He Blasian. Okay. So Yeah. So he was named by sources as the actual person, the assailant, all right, who stormed the 44th floor swanky office building and opened fire, taking the life of one officer and at least 4 civilians. At least 6 other people were also wounded in the actual shooting. So they're saying that there's more. I mean, in this report here, which of course, like I said, we got to take it with a grain of salt. They're saying that there's multiple people, more than just 6 people that were actually hit, that there are more people that are actually hit here. But we gonna find out. We gonna see. Pretty insane. Pretty insane. Hold on, we got more. We gonna keep on cooking. We're gonna keep on mother loving cooking. Hold on. This is crazy. And then of course, press conference allegedly is going to be in the next 19 minutes. So press conference is coming. So stick around. We are going to be looking at that here for sure. Yeah, Bruce Leroy. Bruce Leroy, you know, who the master? That very much screamed that. Okay, that very much screamed that. I'm here to see the master, right? Anyway, let's take a listen to this.
We've heard from multiple sources that this officer is a relatively young member of the NYPD and has about 4 years on the job. In terms of his condition, we do not have official word from the city yet, and we are waiting for that. But our sources told us that his condition was considered to be very serious, if not grave, as he arrived here at this hospital. We are seeing from the posture of police arriving here at the scene, and there's another one coming around, that this is a very tense scene. A lot of times when an officer's been shot, they immediately try to set up something to brief the media on what happened. And thus far right now, we do not see that being set up. And if it's of interest to you, Natasha, we're learning some about the vehicle that's being searched that my colleague Kendall Green has been describing, a black BMW. Our sources tell us there might have been prescription medication in that vehicle. Our source also tells us that there were bags of additional ammunition, additional rounds in a box, in Ziploc bags, and then contained in a box that was also found in that vehicle. Of course, they are looking to confirm that that was the vehicle that belonged to the gunman, and that's all part of that investigation right now.
Breaking news, they say that 4 people have lost their lives in this New York City shooting, just so you guys know. So 4. So now they're saying 4 people have lost their lives. Okay. And we already know the assailant's name now. Okay. 27-year-old Shane Tamura. Yeah. So he kills 4 people. Unbelievable. Let's continue. Just so you know, it's 4 now. It's gone up to 4. I know that there's been reports and speculation and rumors that they're saying 6 people have lost their lives, but that has yet to be seen. 4 people have lost their lives, and of course, the assailant is gone. He's neutralized. All right, but yeah, 4 have lost their lives to this situation.
Tasha.
That's really important information that you're sharing. Also, the fact that this weapon, AR-15, and perhaps this officer, we don't know if they were wearing a vest. And like you said earlier when we talked to you, just really an unfair advantage. Talk to us a little bit about the AR-15 and what we're hearing about the weapon that was used.
Right. By all assumptions right now is that the officer was wearing a bulletproof vest. The information that we're getting is that the bulletproof vest that NYPD officers wear is very effective, but mainly effective in urban environments where weapons like 9mm are used. As I say this, there's yet another official New York City law enforcement vehicle going by us here. And those rounds tend to be smaller, than tend to be rounded. They're very deadly, but we're told that when it comes to AR-15s, the exit velocity of that weapon is much higher, and the bullets are longer and come to a sharp end in the front, and they tend to penetrate things like vests far more effectively. The talk amongst law enforcement officials that sources that we're talking to is that a bulletproof vest might stop as many as 2 or 3 9mm bullets, but when up against an assault weapon, it's not meant to do that. there's no way to prepare for this. We want to see what it is that's happening over here right now as more police vehicles continue to show up here. But yeah, that's a point that's been raised. This officer may have taken every precaution that he was supposed to, and by all assumptions he did. But in a surprise situation and against that kind of weapon, unsure. But also important to know that it's possible that looking at the rounds that were in the vehicle, that perhaps this gunman had more than one weapon on him. In addition to the AR-15, he might have also had a handgun. That's something that investigators are looking into right now.
Yeah, really sad situation there, and a very tense situation that Arthur is describing right now. Arthur, thank you so much for joining us. Right now, we want to go to Mike Alcazar. He's a former NYPD detective, John Jay professor. Mike, I've talked to you on air, breaking news, a number of issues. We just heard from Arthur that the officer was on paid detail, paid assignment where you get prior approval. A young member of the NYPD, 4 years on the job. It's just a sad situation. What do you make about what happened in Midtown Manhattan today?
Yeah, it's a tragic situation. We have this individual armed to the hilt, armed with a weapon that, like Arthur covered, that our vests will not protect us from. And this police officer, if he only has his sidearm, he's not really equipped to handle a situation like this. So a heroic effort on that police officer to, potentially stop this perpetrator. So, he had to think fast. Hopefully we're wishing for the best for his, his recovery. Again, a very scary situation for everybody in Midtown Manhattan during this shooting spree.
Just, so scary. Number of hedge funds in that area, banks, law firms, all this unfolding just after 6 o'clock. People are finishing up their shift. It's a transient area. And then we see a picture of that suspect just walking, looking like he's on a mission, sunglasses on, just out openly carrying that AR-15. It truly is a shocking image. When you looked at that, what did you think?
The first thing that came into my mind is that this could have been a lot worse. We don't know the official count. I heard it was like 6 people shot, but it's a very dense population in Midtown over there, and this could have been a really bad shooting.
I think now comes time to check what that motive was, as detectives are trying to piece together the story of why this man decided to do what he did. Take us through the process of that and what NYPD, FBI might be doing at this time.
Yeah, so once they identify the perpetrator, they're going to go through his, electronic history, his arrest history. Any recent complaints that might have been lodged against him, any other complaints that he might have lodged against anybody. Where did he work? Did he work in this building? Was he recently terminated? It's a lot. It's a lot to sift through. It's a lot of information to go through. The vehicle that he drove in, where did it come from? A lot of video surveillance, so we're going to have to track his way of travel. Are there any potential accomplices? So, a lot of processing right now, a lot of interviews. They're going to interview the witnesses that were on the scene, any potential tips that are coming through right now through Crime Stoppers that might help us identify the perpetrator. And
it is not the chaos.
Obviously, they're going to do what they need to do to figure out what's going on here, obviously. But for sure, they don't have, they're still going to have to figure out why did the guy do this in the first place? What is his motive? But here's the thing, though. The internet reigns supreme. Like all the stuff that we've been seeing so far, from the photo, from the photos, from the ID, his name, the video we just saw, his football video we just saw. Clearly the internet is out here. They move fast, right? They move fast, especially when somebody's a bad guy like this. You can easily find this stuff. People are quick with this stuff. So it's insane that this stuff has come out so quickly. But nonetheless, dag nab, the internet's moving faster than the police, it seems like right now. It's pretty insane. But let's see what else is going on. We got about 10 more minutes till the alleged timing of the press conference that they're supposed to be holding here for everybody. Again, for those of y'all who are just here, I'm hearing that 6 people have lost their lives, but I do not know. I have not heard any confirmation of that anywhere else so far. I've only heard 4 people have lost their lives, but maybe that number has gone up as of late. Yep, death toll just rose. Hold on. Damn. Let's see. Yeah, they've already put out his photo. Crazy. Looking like a broke-ass Bruce Leroy. So, okay, of course, blah, 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 unidentified. Well, he's been identified now. Okay, and let me see if there's, because they just said, breaking news, the update, the death toll has gone up. And I don't see it anywhere. Yeah, they're still saying 4. Well, that one says 4 victims. Hold on. Yeah, they still are saying four victims. 4 victims have lost their lives, but maybe there's a new update that I'm not seeing here. Because I know some other places are saying 6. I don't know about all that, but we'll see. Okay, there is going to be a press conference in about 8 minutes, so I'm sure there's going to be some information here very, very shortly. Okay, some new updates. I hope it doesn't go up, but you never know, right?
That we were dealing with earlier, and the extreme sense of danger. People are much more calm right now. In fact, Gus, let's go ahead and show them over here. This area over here had been closed off to not just also the general public, because the NYPD State Police had cordoned off several blocks here, so people were not allowed to walk along Lexington Avenue, starting here at 50th Street and stretching for 2 blocks, maybe even 3. They just opened up this street right here for anybody who lives in these blocks now. You are allowed to have access, again, because the shooter has been neutralized. Again, I'm Linda Schmidt, Fox 5 News. We have been out here since about 6:20. I want to bring in my colleague here, Kendall Green. And Kendall was located about 6 blocks from here. But I want to give you, just so you have the lay of the land, where this all happened was, I'm on 50th and Lex. It's on 51st Street, 1 block from here, and then it's just right around the corner. And it was that entrance right around the corner where that gunman went in with an AR-15 earlier this evening and started to open fire. Now, Kendall, you were located, what, about 5 or 6 blocks from here?
Yeah, we were right along 55th, close to 56th and Park.
Right.
And then we were talking to a bunch of the residents, we were talking to workers there, and they were telling us that they had to put into a shelter in place. Many of them were standing there for about a couple of hours. One gentleman we spoke with earlier, he recalled he was standing on like the 30th floor, looking down at the scene of that BMW with that perpetrator you saw there.
Right.
And he was just talking about what that looked like. And he was saying that the officers were there at first. In a matter of 5 minutes, they got alerted what was going on. And right after that, you just saw drove of police officers, drove of ambulance, EMT. We heard some of them, some of the scanner talks where they were actually directing EMS right there to the location. We're there at 9:43.
So employees in some of the surrounding buildings, because again, on Park Avenue here in Midtown, there are a lot of financial businesses down here. So it's not just down Wall Street where these financial institutions have offices. They have some here as well. And by the way, 2 of the biggest companies that were in the building where this happened, the NFL and Blackstone, which is a financial company. Now, the people that you were talking to, did they work in the buildings adjoining them or a few streets away?
One of them was about a block away, right across from where that building is, the Blackstone building.
Okay.
And he was saying that he saw all the interactions there going on with that shooter. Other people, they were in the building that looked like it was maybe right next door to the building that's right across the street.
Okay.
Kind of corner to where that shooting happened.
All right.
And they were just talking about the scene and how crazy it was there.
Right.
And
But some of those employees were saying that they were alerted. So were they alerted by their own companies? Was it through a text message saying shelter in place, active shooter? What did they tell you?
One person, they told me they were alerted by a woman, just a woman that said that there's a guy with a gun. Everybody needs to be careful, get out the way. And then after that, that's when they started getting alerts from people that they worked with. And then authorities told them to shelter in place from that point. So, of course, they were worried about that. This is something they've never seen. Park Avenue, that strip, so many businesses, so many financial firms, as you just mentioned, the NFL. So this was something that just caught them completely off guard. And then we were showing them the pictures. You know, they're hearing about it. And then we showed them the pictures of that.
Of the gunman, because there were 2 pictures that were released of the gunman.
Yeah, and when they saw that, and you're thinking that's a couple of blocks, not a couple of blocks, a building over or 2 buildings over from where you work, and you see somebody walking in with clean cut, as you mentioned earlier before we got on air, clean sneakers. It seemed like a statement to be made, but they were frantic when they saw that AR was something that was so close to them, and to hear that there were, casualties involved.
Right. You know, when you talk about this going on first of all, in the country, it really is heartbreaking that anything like this would happen. But then you're talking about New York City, 6 o'clock at night, so many people, thousands of people on their way home because it's still the evening commute. And to think that someone is walking along Park Avenue carrying an AR-15. Now, I don't know how many of you have seen the picture, but the picture showed the shooter. And if you want to be kind of wide on me, Gus, here, the shooter carrying the AR-15 like this, right next to him. So it would have gone about from his knee up to about here, and just walking straight and walking with purpose. No look on his face, clean cut, had on dark glasses, had on a dark colored blazer, a collared shirt that was either white or light blue.
I'm gonna skip ahead.
He realizes that it is no longer dangerous. That's when this starts to sink in. People start thinking about it, and then you start thinking about your coworkers and your family, and that's when it really starts to hit people. And that's where a lot of people end up breaking down.
Yeah, and then you see the tension between police officers there. At first you're worried, you're seeing how they're being really aggressive with everyone, trying to keep them out the way.
Right.
And then they get things kind of subdued, and you know where things, you think you know where things are, where they stand. And then you start to understand, okay, this was something going on very close. Folks were in danger, clear danger, right. And they seem to get more sympathized with that.
Right. Well, when we first got here, we actually, Gus, my cameraman, and I, we made it up to Park Avenue, which is a block from here. And so now this has all been opened up to the general public, so they're allowed to walk on this. But we initially were allowed up a block from here, which was right around the corner from where the shooting happened. But then quickly, I guess maybe we were there for about 45 minutes, and then police actually started pushing us back for our safety. They wanted to get not just the media, but the general public pushed as far back as possible until they realized that the shooter had been neutralized. Because not only are they trying to deal with what's going on in the building, they have to keep the public safe outside. Because you have a shooter inside a building, they don't know if that person's going to open a window, start firing down at the street. They have no idea what happened, but that is a scenario that they have to prepare for. So they pushed us back to this area right here. And again, where this happened was just a block from here, and then you would make a left and you would go up, I don't know, maybe 20 yards, maybe 20, 30 yards up this block is the entrance to the building where it happened. And I know you were talking too, come back in, Kendall. You were talking about some of those people saying that they had been notified by other people, but the NFL actually sent out an alert, and I'm sure other businesses in that building did the same thing, telling their employees not to leave the building, to shelter in place. And this is what these folks, it's a Monday.
Right.
In the summer,
right.
6 o'clock at night,
right.
People are on their way home from work, and
just getting ready to close out, and then you have to shelter in place for couple of hours, right. And you don't know what's coming next. You don't know if you're going to be there for the rest of the night. You don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, there was plenty of worry, and some of those finance workers, you work in finance, you kind of get comfortable. You're on Park Avenue. You kind of you don't expect anything like that to happen. Yeah, so, the fact that this happened right there on Park, such a main stretch of Manhattan.
Right. In a financial area.
Right, so you have to ask the question, what was the motive and the connection to that financial institution. What's, that, of course, that's going to come out later on in the presser or when to the bottom of that part of it.
Well, right now the mayor is at the hospital, New York Presbyterian, which, by the way, is not too far from here. That's at 68th and First Avenue. So that, again, is on the Upper East Side. We're in Midtown. We're at 50th and Lex. So that's a good, 50 to 68th. It's probably about 20 blocks from here. So the mayor is there. The chief of department is there. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg is there as well, and the mayor is going to be having a news conference. Now, he arrived on the scene here shortly after we got here, and there was a block. We were originally up about a block, and they had the police tape up there because the mayor arrived soon after this started happening, and so he was already obviously being briefed, because the moment something like this happens, the mayor knows about it. He is being continually briefed on what's happening. So he got here to the scene, and then he got closer to the building. Now they are all up at the hospital because it has been confirmed one of those people shot is an NYPD officer, and it appears that NYPD officer was moonlighting, which they are allowed to do when it's approved by the department, and it appears that's what this officer was doing, providing security inside this building. So the mayor's going to be having a news conference shortly, and he will be updating us on exactly what's happening. But do me a favor, can you just grab Natasha? It sure. I do have to tell you this. From the moment that we got here at about 6:20 tonight, it was organized chaos out here. People were running in the street. There was panic. There had been reports of an active shooter.
Update. Now they're saying at least 5 people have lost their lives. 5. Okay? 5.
And people were not really sure what they were dealing with. You'll see some of that video in just a moment. But first, I'm going to step out of the way because I just want you to take a look at what
Press
the scene
conference is
looks
supposed to be
like right
happening.
now. I'm at 50th and Lexington. We are right around the corner from that building where this happened earlier tonight. And as you can see, it is much calmer out here. There are still plenty of police. I would say there's got to be at least 100 police officers within like a 4-block area out here in Midtown remaining tonight. But the mayor is at New York Presbyterian Hospital, which is where the New York City police officer was taken. There were also some other people that were shot inside that building. They are likely as well at New York Presbyterian Hospital, which is about 22 blocks from here. And the mayor is going to be having a news conference shortly. But I want you to go ahead and take a look at some of the video that was shot by one of our colleagues, Matt Onimus. Now, I've worked with Matt at Fox 5 for over, we were talking earlier tonight, it's been 24 years that we've worked together. He was leaving work tonight, and he happened to be walking by, and he stumbled on to what was happening. At first, he didn't realize what was happening, and then quickly he was able to process it. Earlier tonight, and we're going to go to that interview for you right now. Here's what Matt had to say. Go ahead, take a listen.
I was going to go home from work. I was walking down Park Avenue. I had my headphones on, so I didn't really hear anything except for music. And then I saw a rush of people rush past me. And then some people had like really scared looks in their eyes, and it was a lot of people. So I took my headphones off, and I hear shooter, gunshots, people kind of like saying that. So I took my headphones off, I turned around, and I was in between 51st and 50th Street. So I started walking back towards 51st Street because it seemed to kind of quiet down. But on 51st Street by the Bank of America, I saw police officers with their guns drawn, hiding behind planters, hiding behind trees, right around the Bank of America building. I called Fox 5 and I said, there's something going on. They're saying it's a shooter. So I had my phone out and I started recording. And then as I'm watching the cops go into the Bank of America building, a few minutes later, people are coming out, and they look like they've worked there. They look scared. And then a few minutes later, 4 police officers came out, and they were carrying what I thought was another police officer that looked injured. He was carrying him by both of his arms and his legs, and then ushering him across the Esplanade.
Basically running him across the Esplanade, and he had a uniform on.
That's right. And so from there, just more police officers were coming into the scene, ambulances. The scene got more chaotic, but people were still kind of unsure what was going on. The SWAT team started coming in, recording as things kind of unfolded.
Right. In fact, most of the video that you have been seeing from those initial first moments, that's video that Matt was shooting on his phone and getting back to the station. And again, there were multiple officers at that entrance with guns drawn.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's why it was strange for me, because people were still kind of hanging around like
not sure
what was going on. But I saw the guns drawn, and you know, we're working with the news business. I kind of put the phone out just so we could still record some things. And but stuff was going on for a long time, and then the police officers started showing up and pushing people back, and pushing us back, and then we saw SWAT teams coming in, large police vehicles, ambulances, and the scene got more chaotic as the time went on.
And then you ended up talking with some of the witnesses who said that they saw a man with an AR-15.
I did. I talked to one man who was speaking to a woman who was sitting at the church, who saw a man walking with an AR-15 and heard automatic gunfire. Now, I heard gunfire, but I didn't hear automatic gunfire. I heard like a couple of pops. Once somebody said gunfire, then I heard the pops.
Yeah, this press conference is supposed to be happening soon.
They saw this man walking with an AR-15.
All right, Matt, thanks so much. I appreciate you spending so much time with us today, and thank God that you're okay.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Just so you know, I am looking at the press conference off to the side. Nothing's happened. No one's there yet, unless they're going to it right now. No, they're not. So we're still waiting for it, just so you guys know. All right, we're still waiting. But damn, they're probably just trying to get as much information as they can before they give the information out to the public. You know what I mean?
Company, as well as the NFL. Now, members of the NYPD, they are allowed to moonlight as long as it's approved by the department. They are allowed to do that when they're off duty. You see that quite frequently when you go into some of these office buildings here around the city. I'm sure some of you folks watching at home, when you've been in the city, you've seen that as well. But again, the mayor's supposed to be having a news conference shortly, and he will be updating us on exactly what happened and the condition of those who were shot. Back inside to you.
Yeah, I'm glad that Matt is okay. Just such a terrifying ordeal today. All right, Linda, thank you so much. Now we want to head to Arthur Sheehan, who's live outside New York Presbyterian on the Upper East Side, where the victims were taken. Arthur, what are you seeing there? At last check with you, it was a very tense situation.
Yeah, and it is still a tense situation. You're right. We were outside the last time you saw us. We've just moved inside a building here at New York Presbyterian Weill Cornell Medical Center. This is 68th Street and York Avenue. This is where a number of officials are, as you can see behind us, are going to be speaking and giving their first briefing that we will witness about exactly what went down here. There are 3 locations that we're aware of where people were brought as a result of this shooting. You have this location here. We heard some people might have been brought over. Some of the victims might have been brought over to Bellevue, but it's worth pointing out that there might also be victims still at the scene at that building, and those would be people who are beyond medical help. So there are actually 3 active scenes if we're going to talk about victims of this. As for who we do know is here is that police officer that Matt Animas described, seeing who was brought here, learning things about the police officer. Our sources tell us he's relatively young to the NYPD, that he's been on the job for 4 years, which is considered a relatively short time for a police officer. We are told through multiple sources that he's assigned to the 4-7 precinct in the Bronx, and that he was on this paid detail. This is something that's approved. Prior approval is required by the NYPD for them to work extra security jobs and to make some extra money on the side. Commercial businesses often hire these paid detail officers to beef up security. It's a uniformed officer. They're trained professionally, and he was there. Now, we've been talking about the nature of his injury. It obviously seemed very grave, and we'll get an update from the city's officials to give you official word on his condition, but certainly there is concern out here that it was not looking good. We've been showing you video of everybody who has been arriving here. There are countless police vehicles lining all the streets in every direction. This is a large hospital and is surrounded by police vehicles and city officials. We saw Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg arrive at around the same time. Eric Adams was arriving, and we saw other officials, high-ranking officials from the NYPD, including Chief of Department John Schell and several others. And it isn't just the NYPD, but we also see fire officials here. We also see, we also saw the president of the Police Benevolent Association arrive at around 8:15. His union represents patrolmen and presumably this officer as well. This will be a press conference that a lot of people talking, and we'll bring that to you as soon as that happens. But for now, we're live at New York Presbyterian Weill Medical Center on the Upper East Side. We go back to you, Natasha.
Yeah, such a massive response to a situation like this. All right, Arthur, thank you so much. Kendall Green is also live in Midtown speaking with witnesses. Kendall, what did they have to say about the shooting as it was happening?
Yeah, hey, good evening, Natasha. Many of those witnesses that we spoke with, they were inside of another building when they were told to shelter in place. Now, many of them, they expected to be there just for a brief moment, but then they got the news that there was an active shooter situation going on. And then that's when the reality started to sink in, that they would be there for a while. And then you saw those worries. And those are the worries on the inside. Now, on the outside, we were talking to some spectators who were just sitting there watching this whole thing unfold, looking at their phones, watching that individual with that AR-15 just walk into the building, and those images showing just how brazen that crime was. And one financial professional we talked to, he said that he heard a woman that warned them there was a shooter situation going on pretty close to where they were. And as you imagine, you're thinking about your family, you're thinking about your coworkers, your colleagues, wondering if they're okay. And he reached out, started making his rounds, and everybody gave the thumbs up and things were decent. Now, they tell me that many of those folks, some of them are working, others, they're just spectators in the area. But we're going to listen to one of those witnesses who outlined just what it was like just moments ago.
I have a lot of friends that work around here. So it's crazy to hear it happening so close to you. Like, you hear about it on the news, but then when it's right there, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's literally the middle of the day, and I was walking, and I was seeing a whole bunch of people just casually walking, and all of the police cars and the firefighters and the helicopters going that way. And I'm looking around, I'm like, everybody's normal, but something, as a New Yorker, I'm like, something is definitely going on.
2 people getting dragged out by police. Not sure if it was the shooter or civilians, but I saw 2 people, immediately put in an ambulance. Couldn't tell if they were alive or dead, but yeah, it's pretty scary.
I mean, and think about that. You're at work. You're seeing people get pulled out, taken into an ambulance, and you're really close to where you make a living. We're going to find out what the why, the motive behind that. That's what we're hoping to find out. Many of the people, that was a major concern when we spoke to them, why this happened. Hopefully that press conference can give us some answers on that. I'll send things back to you, Natasha.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if people have PTSD from what they saw today. It's so incredibly scary. All right, Kendall, thank you so much. Joining us now with more on today's shooting is Bill Daly, a security expert. Bill, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Good evening, Natasha.
Shooting happening in broad daylight, middle of Manhattan, in a building that's housing high-powered financial institutions at the end of the workday, with people heading home, going to the subway. What stands out to you right now about this shooting?
Well, a couple of things stand out to me. First of all, it appears this individual was with an intent. So if this was somebody who just was and mayhem and death in New York City, certainly there'd be a lot of other targets in and around on the street outside the building or in any other part of New York City. So if you see with the way that he was walking into this building, it was with intent and with a design to get into a specific place in that building, I believe. Natasha, it's interesting is that over my career, I've actually been in that building as a visitor a number of times. And I can tell you the lobby security is very tight. They have a security desk where you need to sign in. People just can't walk in off the street and say, I want to go up to a certain office or visit someone without being invited. And then there's also automatic or electronic security portals that people need to pass through in order to go into the elevator bank. So it's very tightly secured, and it sounds as though with the paid detail, the off-duty police officer was there as additional precaution by building management, either just out of an abundance of precaution, or we don't know whether or not there was any pre-information about somebody who may have been making threats against someone in the building. But Natasha, that building, as was mentioned by Linda Schmidt and others, is that it has a number of high-profile organizations from Blackstone Investments to the NFL. I think even the company, the building management company, is well known, that has offices in that building. So it's not just the companies, but also there are, pretty well known personalities associated with those companies that are also in the building. So we don't know at this point who or why they were targeted.
Walking with such intent. I mean, when you look at that picture, it's unbelievable. He's got sunglasses on. It just seemed like he's walking with a mission. And then he has an AR-15 out there just right by his. It's surprising to see that.
Well, most certainly it's surprising to see it. And having worked really all my career in New York City, I can tell you is that, as much as New Yorkers kind of look the other way when they see all kinds of different things happening on the street, certainly when you would see something like that, immediately draw your attention, and that's not supposed to be. He wasn't dressed as a police officer. There was no intent to kind of disguise that he was carrying it out in the open. The other part of this too is that there's reports that this individual, the shooter, is connected with or has lived in or came from Nevada, perhaps Las Vegas. So I'd probably say at this point, the investigation is quickly ensuing to where folks from the FBI, where I used to work many years ago, are now working to identify who else possibly was aware of his plans. Who else could he have been associated with? Checking, perhaps getting an immediate search warrant to search his residence, where they may be able to get computers or other writings that he may have, just to understand both why, but more importantly, more immediately, is are there any other people who are out there with a similar intent or who are co-collaborators who need to be brought in and brought to justice?
Yeah. All right. We have to leave the conversation there. Bill Daly, thank you so much for joining me.
Where's this press conference? Dear Lord.
Breaking news coverage continues.
Oh my God.
Sources say the Midtown shooting suspect is dead. We are back live from the scene with new information coming in right now. Stay with us.
Where is this press conference?
That was Fox 5 New York.
Where's this press conference? Dag, nab. This is taking forever. Jeez Louise. Trying to see if there's any more updates. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, they haven't shown up yet. I get it. They got to get as much information as they can before they address the world, because this is New York City. So there's a lot of people that are feeling some type of way about this, of course, and there's a lot of concern. And I get that. Company and building where this whole situation took place says says thoughts are with the victims. So you heard from the one of the guys that was outside where the press conference is being held. He himself even said that they haven't accounted for everybody yet, that there could literally be people inside the building that just didn't make it, that they're beyond rendering aid to, if you get what I'm saying. So they're still probably getting as much information as they can before they go live and address the nation about all this. But still, the fact that he's saying that there's so many people and they're reporting 5, and I know there's some other places that are saying 6 people are gone, but they're saying right now, the news is saying 5, and there's a good possibility that there are more people inside that building that have also lost their lives, but they haven't been accounted for yet. So again, like I said, the number could rise or it could stay exactly where it is. I mean, it's insane. I don't know. And it is weird. It is wild. The way they're talking about it, it's true. He just walked right in, just nonchalantly. It seemed like he casually, calmly walked in there just with the AR-15 dangling to his side, and he walked in. He walked in calmly. He didn't run in there like in an active position, ready to do something. He walked in very calm because he knew that if he walked calm, people won't see like, what's up with this guy and this, you know what I mean? He wouldn't cause much attention to him. You see what I'm saying? So this is all extremely terrifying and extremely sad. But let's take a look at this. So one of the companies in the Manhattan building where this situation took place said its hearts go out to the victims of this horrific act and their families. Of course, we are incredibly grateful for the bravery of building security and law enforcement. There are multiple businesses in the building. Sure. There are more than just NFL and Blackstone. There are other businesses in the building for sure. And authorities who have not said which, they haven't said, if any, were targeted in this particular shooting. And that's what I want to know too, right? Where is this, like, was this targeted, and can we figure that out soon? Now we have this other information. Okay. So now it's an update. 6 people have lost their lives, okay, including the gunman. So that's 5. That's still 5. if I'm correct. Right? That's still 5. Because we don't, in my mind, we don't count it, right? We don't count the assailant. Let's see. Yeah, it's okay. So it's about to start. It's about to go on. It's on and popping
I'll get
now.
back to that question here, but we got to hear
Let's get it. Let's get going.
on the ground there in New York City, outside New York Presbyterian Hospital. They are positioned behind the podium here. We don't want to bring up the microphone just yet. It does look like they are, though, getting into position. If I recognize anyone, I'll point them out to you. But as for now, remember, you saw on the scene not only NYPD officials, but also those from New York State Police. We also know that the FBI was assisting with the investigation. So federal law enforcement was also on the scene as well. And so they're just kind of positioning right now. So bear with us as we are about to see the principals step up to the microphone. I would imagine it's going to be Commissioner Tisch, also New York City Mayor Eric Adams. I'll also point out whether or not any other New York elected leaders will be on hand for this here. So, like I said, bear with us, but this is what has been reported. This shooting at the Midtown Manhattan office building there on Park and Lexington Avenues, it left at least 5 people dead. That is according to the Associated Press. One of those fatalities included an off-duty New York City police officer who, according to reports, from what we know, that officer off-duty was contracted with the security at the building. NYPD officers are free to do this with permission from the overall force, and that is why that off-duty officer was there. He was working as security for the building. We know that. We also know that the suspect in all of this was identified as Shane Tamura of Nevada. That's according to 2 people briefed on the investigation, telling that to the associates. Sources say he fatally shot himself. So I would imagine we're going to get some of these pieces of information, some of these details at this very press conference, though, here on Live Now. We do rely on Fox 5 New York, on the Fox News channel, and also on the Associated Press to bring you some of this reporting in real time when it is confirmed here. Now, the Fire Department of New York said emergency crews were called to the Park Avenue office building around 6:30 p.m. local time this afternoon for a report of someone shot. Remember, this is the headquarters of Blackstone, the major hedge fund, also the New York headquarters of the NFL there, too. So it does look like we are anticipating.
I'm going to pause, or I'm going to mute that really quick and get this really quick, too. Thank you, Fabulous Fab, for gifting 10 memberships. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family, all 10 of you guys. Again, of course, please pay it forward. Okay, Fabulous Fab gave you some love, so please pay it forward, okay? Yeah. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay? I'm going to unmute this, though.
How does this happen? The why in all of this. How does a guy walk into a major New York City office building with that type of weapon and carry out this rampage? What was his motive? Now, motive, it may be too early to tell. And usually in these investigations, when they're just hours old, I know about the motive, that's the why. But that's part of the investigation that they have to figure out still, these law enforcement analysts who are going to be briefing us momentarily. You also see there, looks like in the white medical coat, that seems to be a representative from New York Presbyterian Hospital. You also see there the Manhattan District Attorney on the far right there, Alvin Bragg, as well. And so I'm just trying to do my best to recognize, familiarize yourself with some of these New York City officials. I would imagine we're waiting for the commissioner. We're also waiting for the mayor. And while we do wait, maybe it is safe to bring in some of our analysis, some of our expertise here. Don't want to preempt them or cut them off, but as you know, things like this, they're very fluid. We bring you these updates in real time. I believe that is yet another high-ranking NYPD official. John Chell is his name. I believe he's either one or two below the commissioner. And so it's going to be a very, very difficult day for the NYPD in the loss of one of their own, but also, according to some of these reports from the Associated Press, the loss of civilians. We don't know how many, at least 5, we are being told. And so you have more and more of these officials getting onto the scene. So bear with us here. We're going to keep this shot up.
Such a tease, man.
You even see
Annoying.
more officials from the hospital where some of these victims presumably were treated. But this is an extremely terrible, tragic story to tell. If you're in New York, you have family in New York, you have friends in New York, you're thinking about them today, you're calling them to make sure they're okay. And we're going to talk about some of the crime statistics in New York City, the NYPD over the 4th of July holiday. We're touting some of those very statistics, that the number of murders in the city was extremely low this year in the first half of the year. And then something like this happens. And you really can't wrap your head around it. That question, why? It's being reported this shooter was a resident of Nevada. All right, here we have it. New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Let's listen.
This never gets easy. I always go back to the beginning of my role as mayor in Harlem Hospital, where Officer Mora and Rivera were assassinated. I remember watching their family members enter the hospital and a loud yell of, "No, God, please tell me it's not true." I thought about that today when the notification came over from the police commissioner that we had a number of shots fired, and we're still unraveling what took place. And our hearts are heavy. 5 innocent people shot tonight. We lost 4 souls to another senseless act of gun violence, including a member of the New York City Police Department, Officer Islam. He served in the 47th Precinct. He was just 36 years old and a 3.5-year veteran of the department. He was doing what he does best, and all members of the police department carry out. He was saving lives. He was protecting New Yorkers. He's an immigrant from Bangladesh, and he loved this city. And everyone we spoke with stated he was a person of faith and a person that believed in God and believed in living out the life of a godly person. He embodies what this city is all about. He's a true blue New Yorker, not only in the uniform he wore, but in his spirit and energy of loving this city. And early tonight, I met with the officer's family. I told them that he was a hero, and we admire him for putting his life on the line. This was his dad's only son. I think about Jordan, my child, and it's unimaginable to experience a loss of this magnitude. And 3 other innocent civilians are also dead. 2 males and 1 female, and another male is seriously injured, fighting for his life in critical condition because of the violent, despicable attack. Additionally, the shooter is dead of an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. To be clear, 6 total tonight died, 1 including the perpetrator. And I'm sorry, 6 total was shot tonight, 1 including the perpetrator. No words can describe this act of evil and the life of others who are innocent. And no words can fill the void that has been left by this tragedy. Our hearts break for the families and friends of the victims. We pray for the swift and safe recovery of the injured. The horrific crime reminds us all how easy it is to gain access to a gun. Gun violence has scarred so many neighbors and ripped apart too many families across this entire country. And we will continue the fight to do all we can to protect our city. But tonight we mourn for those who were killed. And we pray for the families as they go through this painful moment. And as I stated, 5 innocent people were shot. And the perpetrator was shot. We will continue to do what we do as a city, and that's fight to protect innocent New Yorkers. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to the Police Commissioner of the City of New York, Commissioner Tisch.
Thank you, sir. The information that I'm about to provide is preliminary and subject to change. At 6:28 p.m., the 911 call center started receiving multiple 911 calls for an active shooter inside of 345 Park Avenue at 52nd Street in Manhattan. What happened next is under an active investigation, and details are still coming in, but here's what we know so far. Surveillance video shows a male exit a double-parked black BMW on Park Avenue between 51st and 52nd Streets, carrying an M4 rifle in his right hand. He walks towards the building's entrance. That individual was seen exiting the BMW alone. The building's security camera footage shows the shooter enter the lobby, turn right, and immediately open fire on an NYPD officer. He then shoots a woman who took cover behind a pillar and proceeds through the lobby, spraying it with gunfire. He makes his way to the elevator bank, where he shoots a security guard who was taking cover behind the security desk.
Oh my God.
One additional male is shot in the lobby, per his own statement from the hospital. The shooter then calls the elevator, which opens in the lobby. A female exits that elevator, and he allows her to walk past him unharmed.
Wow.
He goes up to the 33rd floor, which is route and management, and begins to walk the floor, firing rounds as he traveled. 1 person was struck and killed on that floor. He then proceeds down a hallway and shoots himself in the chest. In total, we have 5 victims shot, our officer and 4 other innocent civilians,
Jesus.
plus the shooter. The shooter is believed to be Shane Tamora, a 27-year-old male with a Las Vegas address. The vehicle is registered in Nevada to Mr. Tamora. Inside of that vehicle, officers found a rifle case with rounds, a loaded revolver, ammunition, and magazines, a backpack, and medication prescribed to Mr. Tamora.
What kind of medication?
The vehicle was searched by our bomb squad and found to be clear of any explosives. The initial investigation shows that Mr. Tamora's vehicle traveled cross-country through Colorado on July 26th, then Nebraska and Iowa on July 27th, and then in Columbia, New Jersey, as recently as 4:24 p.m. today. The vehicle entered New York City shortly thereafter.
Wow.
According to our law enforcement partners in Las Vegas, Mr. Tamora has a documented mental health history. His motives are still under investigation, and we are working to understand why he targeted this particular location. 345 Park Avenue is a commercial office building whose tenants include the NFL, Root and Management, KPMG, and Blackstone. At this time, 4 of the 5 victims are deceased, including our NYPD cop. Our officer was transported here to New York Presbyterian along with one male civilian, the lone shooting survivor, who is in critical but stable condition at this time. Two other civilians, one male and one female, both deceased, were brought to Bellevue. The fourth civilian is a female who was found dead on the 33rd floor of the location. Additionally, there are 4 other victims being treated for minor injuries sustained in their attempts to flee the scene. Victims' names are being withheld at this time, pending family notification. Officers from our Special Operations Division are currently conducting a secondary sweep of the entire building. I want to be very clear. We believe this to be a lone shooter, and there is no longer an active threat to the public. But today, 4 innocent victims are dead. Among them is NYPD police officer Didarul Islam, 36 years old, 4 years on the job. Officer Islam was married with 2 young boys. His wife is pregnant with their 3rd child.
Oh, God.
He's assigned to the 4-7 precinct in the Bronx. He was doing the job that we asked him to do. He put himself in harm's way. He made the ultimate sacrifice, shot in cold blood, wearing a uniform that stood for the promise that he made to this city. He died as he lived, a hero. I want to extend my profound sympathies to all of the victims and their families, and to the brave NYPD cops who today lost a brother. There are still many questions that we have to answer, and we will answer them. But for now, our city is in mourning for the innocent lives lost. May their memories be a blessing. Pat.
Damn, bro.
Patrick Henry Prey. This is a devastating night for our city, for our police department. Pure evil came to the heart of our city and struck innocent people. And one of our police officers who were protecting those people. We lost 4 people tonight in our hero brother who gave his life for this city. He was a hardworking police officer who was proud, we know, from hearing from his family, to put on that uniform and shield of a New York City police officer every day and went out and did his job. And he went out every single day to provide for his family, whether it was overtime or whatever he had to do to provide for this family. That's what he did on a daily basis. And his family is devastated. A wife losing a husband who provided for that family. A father who's not going to see his son again. And our hearts of every New York City police officer right now is hurting. We're hurting for our brother police officer who we lost. We're hurting for that family. We're hurting for all the victims and hurting for all the families of the victims. And we're all asking, why? Why did pure evil come here? And we know our police department and our law enforcement partners will work tirelessly to get those answers. But now our job as police officers is to be there for this family, to support them in any way that we can, to come together as a city, to be there for these families of the victims. And we will continue to do that because that's what New York City police officers do. And we're going to continue as police officers to go out and protect this city because we know that evil can strike at any time. But police officers are willing to risk their lives to protect everyone in this room and protect everyone in this city. So we ask all New Yorkers to pray for our police officers' family, to pray for all the victims and their families. And we need to stand united going forward. We thank you for covering this story.
We are also joined by our federal partners from the ATF and the FBI. I want to give an opportunity to our partner in the FBI, a special agent in charge of the New York City Fields Office, Chris Rea.
Thank you, Mayor. First off, on behalf of all the men and women of the FBI, I'd like to extend my deepest condolences to the victims of this senseless tragedy. And also personally, I want to extend my condolences to the police commissioner. And just please know, ma'am and Mr. Mayor, that you have the full force of FBI New York and the full force of FBI to get to the bottom of the answers. Upon learning of the incident this evening, FBI agents immediately deployed to the scene to assist our NYPD partners. While this remains an NYPD investigation, the FBI's New York office stands ready to provide any and all resources to assist our partners. Initial checks of our internal systems have not revealed any information about the subject, but when and if more information becomes available, we will share what we can, when we can, with the public. Thank you.
That was short.
All of this information is under active investigation. Videos are being and as this investigation continues to unfold, we'll be able to answer those questions. But right now, it's an active investigation.
Commissioner, if you could just talk about he was working the day detail there. People might not know what that means. And was he the only officer working that day detail there?
I believe that there were 2 officers in the building working paid detail assignments in different parts of the building. Paid detail is a program that we have set up at the police department that allows companies to hire officers in uniform to provide extra uniform security. I already described what we found in the vehicle, and it's too early in the investigation to discuss anything more. As I said, too early in this investigation to tell, but nothing that we have seen preliminarily. I cannot. I cannot, other than to say that our partners in Las Vegas made us aware of a mental health history. That's what I said already. It was an M4 rifle, and we also found a revolver in the vehicle with ammunition and magazines. He did have a license in the state of Nevada. At this time, it's too early in the investigation to tell.
That's it.
Okay.
And that's all she wrote.
Here, as you can see, the demeanor on Commissioner Tisch's face, the very lengthy pause at the very beginning of the press conference by New York City Mayor Eric Adams just shows you the gravity, the weight.
Yeah, there's obviously Commissioner Tisch was not very happy about talking about any of this. I mean, losing anybody, any of your own, I'm sure hurts a lot and angers a lot of people. And it's a tough conversation to have. You know what I mean? But one thing's for sure. I have a couple questions. One of the main questions I have is the fact that, one, he went in and he just started spraying bullets everywhere. That's one thing that we know for sure right now, okay? And then, of course, he claimed the lives of, right now, 5 different people. One of them, that includes one police officer that was actually doing security as an extra job. And what's also really sad about this, and of course, we don't know the full story about the other victims as well. We don't know if they have families. We don't know if they have babies on the way or anything of that sort. But at least with that police officer, he has a baby on the way, which is obviously very, very tragic and very sad as well. You heard me react. I was like, oh, man, come on. You know what I mean? Still, no matter what, him passing away is still tragic. But given the fact that he had another baby on the way, and now that kid, those kids don't have their father, is really, really sad. But I know it's the same effect and the same feeling for all the other people that have lost their lives as well. Here's something that's very interesting about this. Aside from the information that we received from this press conference showing the carnage, showing how much this guy did not give a damn, but then he had one moment where he lets this girl walk right by him without pulling the trigger at all, is very weird to me. I don't know if that was him exacting some sort of like power. I don't know what that was all about. And I'm sure as they start to dive in and do their investigation into this guy, they're going to find out more information about what makes him tick and why he is who he is and why he did what he did. I'm sure he left something behind, some sort of letter, some sort of manifesto, something. But something I also find very strange that's really aggravating the hell out of me is this. They said that this man has a documented history of mental health. Let me repeat that again. He has a documented history of mental health. So if that's the case, how the hell did this man get his hands on a very powerful weapon? Think about that for a second. Now, you never know. Maybe they say his documented history of mental health is not, it wasn't bouts of violence or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you really think about it, doesn't matter. It's a documented. It's not like this is just something that's done on the sly behind closed doors. He just sits down and has a psychiatrist or psychologist that he sits down and talks to all the time. No, this is documented history of mental health. So what the hell is this all about? What actually happened here? Why is he able to run around with a CCW, a conceal and carry license? Why is he able to have a permit like that if he has documented history of mental health? Now, I know we could talk about like gun control and those conversations till we're blue in the face. But this particular situation, this particular individual right here, okay, this Shane Tamora, okay, who walked into this building and caused carnage, caused a lot of tragedy for a lot of people and for the entire city of New York, if not the entire world who's watching this situation, should not have had any access to any kind of weapon that he had in his hands today. I repeat that again. He should not have had any opportunity to have his hands on a weapon like this. We talk about mental health. It's about the mental health, and it's about the guy, or the person not being well. It's not the gun that does the violence. It's the person that does the violence, right? And they always blame it on mental health. They lean it on all these other things, right? But this guy had a documented history of mental health. And he still had an M4, y'all. This wasn't just an AR-15, it was an M4. Then he had other weapons in the car as well. Every time we talk about gun control, we hear that excuse. It's the mental health. It's the. Clearly, if this is a well-documented history of mental health, how in the F is this man able to obtain a deadly weapon like this, drive cross-country, which is what he did, And then as soon as he crossed into New York City, he drove right up to this building and he opened fire on these people. He didn't wait. He didn't take a few days off. He drove. He did a few days to drive to New York. And as soon as he got into New York, he drove right up to that building, got out of the car, double parked. By the way, which, if from my understanding, that BMW must be it's a nice BMW, driving all the way from Vegas to New York City. He, without hesitation, he didn't stop to take a piss break. He didn't go and take a nap somewhere at a Motel 6. No, he pulled right up to that building, walked right in nonchalantly, and then caused a whole lot of tragedies. I'm going to repeat this again. As much as they say we blame it on the mental health. We blame it on the person and how they're dealing with things in their lives, etc. And some people have mental health history that's never documented. But the thing is, the difference between those people and this guy is drastically different. You have documented history of mental health. That means he's either been locked up, he's been put into particular facilities because of his mental health issues. And it's documented history. So you for damn sure know that it's more than just one time. It's more than just one day. He just decides to go berserk in a 7-Eleven because he wanted a fresh new meatball sub, and they were fresh out. No, okay. This shows that there's a history, and yet he still was able to get his hands on something like this. How did he get to fly under the radar like that in that successful way, to the point where he can grab that weapon and do what he did? I'm just asking the questions, guys. I'm just asking the questions because this is when I get pissed off, because they clearly do this all the time. When in this situation, this is a perfect example of someone who should not have a weapon in his possession. And yet he still has one. We see it right here in the video, or at least in this footage. Can't deny it. That's definitely a weapon in his hands. And he definitely walked in and he opened fire on the first person he saw. And then he continued to pull the trigger. And then he gave grace. He gave grace to one woman. Don't know why, but he gave her grace. Let her walk right by him as he continued to walk through the building, pumping round after round into people, only to finally turn the weapon onto himself. Let me repeat this again. Documented history of mental health. And he still was able to get his hands on extremely powerful weapons. Artillery that pierces armor. How's this happening? That's a question that needs to be answered as soon as possible. There are other ways he could have gotten it. He could have gotten all those weapons under the radar. He could have gotten all those weapons illegally. That's still a very possible thing. Let's not forget that too. But if not, something ain't right. My Miracle Mama, thank you so much for the love. Thank you for covering this, Pascal, and sending love to New York City fan burgers. So sick of these. Yes, I am too. You know, and especially when the sun comes out, when it gets, when the sun gets, when it gets hot out here, it seems like people just go nuts, right? And people start doing even more crazy things, especially during the summer. There's always these group gatherings. There's always these big gatherings of celebrating the holidays, etc., going to the pool, blah, blah, blah. And yet still we're seeing a situation like this where dude just pulled up into New York City. He probably wasn't even there for very long. Pulled into New York City, walked in here and did this. No hesitation, no time off, no day to think about it and room, and maybe case the joint beforehand. Nope. He pulled up, got out of the car, double parked because clearly he wasn't coming back, and then did what he did. It's an absolute tragedy, guys. And these kinds of things need to stop. And I say that all the time. But in this particular situation, if he got that weapon legally, and only if he got this weapon legally, then something is corrupt within the system. Because if there is documented history of mental health, and if it at all is anywhere that would be a red flag for a reason of not to give the guy a weapon that powerful, there needs to be some serious investigation into why he was given such a powerful weapon if his mental health issues are that severe. It's just something to think about. But may they rest in peace. Lady, okay. I'm a paralegal and I understand the HIPAA laws. Medical records cannot be accessed in any background checks unless you're working for the government. See, now that's interesting though. That should be okay. If that is 110% correct, I'm not sitting here saying that it's not 110% correct, but if that is correct, then they need to fix that as soon as possible. Because if he has a history of violence because of his mental health, why give that person a weapon in the first place? You see what I'm saying? So if they keep on saying that it's, they keep saying mental health, mental health, mental health, that's what's really the bad guy pulling the trigger. But if you have documented history of mental health, then that should be something that should be used. Doing all kinds of background checks. Were you locked up for violent because of your mental health, and you are mentally, like, your mental health causes some severe violence? I feel like that should be important to know. Why hand a weapon to a person like that, right? Now, I know it's covered under HIPAA laws, but like I said, that's something that needs to be changed then. That's it. Okay? Because that's crazy. All right? Something switched off in this guy's mind, and he decided, okay, I'm pulling up and I'm about to cause some really bad things. Okay? It's a damn shame, y'all. But of course, when we get more information, I'll talk to you guys about it and let you guys know what's going on. Okay? This is really sad, and my heart goes out to everybody in New York City. New York City definitely needs a lot of healing and love and a lot of positive vibrations right now, because this is absolutely insane. And these kinds of tragedies happen all the time. We just had another one in Vegas. There was a mass stabbing even the day before. Okay? Then this morning, casino in Nevada. And then now we got this. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, guys. We cover these so damn often, you start to lose track on what is what. And that's messed up. Certain things like this shouldn't be happening. They shouldn't. There should be a bunch of red tape and protocols used. And if it's violating HIPAA laws, then maybe they need to move some things around when it comes to weapons like this. Giving these kind of weapons to violent individuals or people who have serious, severe mental health issues, yeah, I don't want them having the weapons. Okay, I want them to get well. Not use their, not let their mental health overwrought their brains and override how they're feeling to the point where they feel like they got to get rid of the evil entities that are inside of a building. Okay, like, for example, ain't no way I would be giving Kanye West a weapon, and I don't need HIPAA laws to see that. I don't even need to violate HIPAA laws for that. That is someone who is severely mentally, you know what I'm saying? There's just certain things where you're like, nope, sorry, can't, nope, not going to give you that. Not going to. There's just got to be another way of doing things, guys. This is just really sad. And, someone just said something here, and I saw it in the corner of my eye. Vintage just said, you're late to this discussion about mental health and guns. It's never too late. It's never too late to talk about that. It's still an ongoing issue. Look at this situation that we're looking at right now. This is literally a conversation that will never go out of style, sweetheart. Never go out of style. Okay? This is a classic problem that we have in this country, and it needs to get figured out as soon as possible. Period. This is classic. Classic issues that need to be figured out. This is one that will never go out of style until it gets figured out. That's just how I see it. That's just how I see it. This is truly, truly messed up. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate you guys for being here. It really means a lot, okay? It's time to wrap it up, unfortunately, okay? We need to figure some things out. How we're going to figure that out, I have no clue. I don't have the answers. I don't. I wish I did, though. I really do. So please do me a favor. Do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on those other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow me on all those social media platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe here on my main channel. Also, I just put up, it's linked to the top of the chat right now, my most recent episode of Pascal Raw. Please go check it out. You know, just listen to it while you're driving, listen to it while you're cleaning, cooking, whatever. You know, it's one of those kind of things, all right? Hopefully it gives you a chuckle and also something to think about while you're listening, okay? But please subscribe over to Pascal Raw. It's called Pascal Raw. Subscribe over there, please and thank you. All right. Go to my third channel, The Pascal Show Clips, of course, as well, and subscribe over there as well. Okay. Hit that notification bell on all of them so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it's random. That'll be greatly appreciated as well. All right. Hit that join button down below. Check that out. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. It is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a great rest of your night. We'll be talking here very, very soon. And to New York City. Nothing but love and prayers to you guys. Anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.